Welcome back to the Box2Box podcast.
This is episode 51, and today we will be doing the bracket of the best managers in the world.
But first, we'll go through Igor Tudor's first game at the Juventus helm.
And Barcelona fielding ineligible players, will that cost them the title?
All that and more on the Box2Box podcast.
Let's go.
You ain't going home,
Your
bro.
Honor, I'm sorry. Your Honor, I'm sorry. If we don't compete with City, this is a failure of a season. You've heard
Okay,
it
so
here first.
I can already tell you, I'll tell you in advance, you failed.
I'm going to take central midfielder Federico Valverde.
What?
Yeah.
No, that's
He has been
crazy.
the worst midfielder for Real Madrid this season.
That's
by
like saying,
far.
that's like saying Neymar was the worst player in MSN. Gentlemen, welcome back. We're recording this one day later than we usually do.
Yeah, Monday.
Monday. Who likes Monday?
Crazy recording vibe on a Monday. I can't cap. And it's crazy after the weekend we just had in football, which you can consider like when we go from like weeks of like El Clasicos, derbies, and
Champions League.
Champions League to little FA Cup quarterfinals where there was really no upsets either.
It was a really tough week in football, honestly.
Yeah.
We consider this a flex week.
But Box2Box capitalized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We took the weekend to have some big recordings.
Yeah, big recordings. We recorded some of our White Room videos, which are always a lot of fun to record, but one of them specifically was a lot of fun to record this time. So we're really excited for you guys to see that type of content.
I mean, if you saw our Instagram stories, then you know that.
Little sneak peek.
Yeah, a little sneak peek. So, yeah, we're really excited to get those out to you guys. But, yeah, overall, it was a lot of fun. The people that came, thank you guys. If you guys are
It's a
listening,
different
thank you guys
space
for coming.
too. We changed to like a bigger space. It felt more of a vibe. Like we had more props to use. And
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it more than the other ones. Although I enjoyed all of them, but this one especially.
What I find crazy is that every video we've done so far, the chemistry has been unmatched for the contestants.
Yeah.
Like you would think people are camera shy or like it's their first time in front of different people that they don't really know, and yet they're like debating, they're shouting.
Yeah.
But football does that to people. Because I'm sure if we were talking about personalities, or if it was like a video about like I don't know, like a 20v1 with girls, rizzing girls, like everyone would get into their shell. But when football comes along, it's like you're talking about the clubs and stuff as if you're part of the teams. So like these guys all like they dropped their persona at homes, and it was really cool, especially yesterday.
Yeah, it was so funny because like you don't know how they're gonna react with each other. It's the first time they ever meet each other really. But like the one particular group we brought in, it was like you turned around, they all just kind of just shook hands like, hi, nice to meet you, nice to meet you. You turn around, you turn back, and they're just yelling, screaming, debating, like
literally 10-minute gap from saying hello for the first time ever meeting each other to they're in the break room, and I'm just like,
shouting.
bro, why are people yelling in the break room?
And
They just had the love of the game. Just had the love of the game.
love of the game.
Donnarumma shit.
Yeah, the
This guy
random
should get
topics
sacked.
too.
Like I don't know, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
And they brought that energy to the video.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah. Honestly, great energy in the video. It was a lot of fun. So,
But I was tired when I got home for the first time after like usually after recordings like
oh,
No, this was
this one I was thoroughly like I had 2 assignments to do before 12, and I'm just lying down in bed after getting home, and I'm like, I gotta do.
let's just say it was an eventful Sunday for Varvar FC.
Oh, Varvar had even more.
you gas up your
They
car?
did not.
The car was gassed up.
Thank God.
But we still had to stop at a gas station because we had a little bit of a flat tire situation now. And I was on the way to a wedding, so I already rushed out of recording because I had to go to a wedding. And then on my way to the wedding, flat tire because the city of Montreal cannot fix their roads for shit. By the way, it's like a landmine out there. It's a land. There's it's like walking through a past war-torn country and you just hit a random mine on the floor.
Welcome to the 40.
Yes.
But you have to pay attention to the road more than you have to pay attention to the cars around you.
Yeah.
And when you're driving on the 40, unfortunately, you have to pay attention to both.
Both, yeah.
It's one eye down at the road, one eye up at the traffic
the
in front of
Marotta
you.
stair.
But you have to pull a Marotta in order to drive safe.
But it's a highway, but it's elevated.
Yeah.
So it makes it even more closed in.
You see the plan? They want to add even another deck potentially.
Yeah?
Go where?
Deck above.
what? In
Like
about
a
100
like an
years.
express above that. So like people, this is for. I'm trying to put this in terms that people would understand if you don't live in Montreal too. So if you're trying to go from like you're just using Montreal like as a expressway, the level above there would barely be any exits or anything, so you could just go directly out of Montreal. Like all the trucks and stuff would just drive through no issue, no
Be cool.
traffic.
Imagine no DeCarry exit.
But bro,
Yeah.
So like
flat
so,
tire.
Like,
What happens?
oh, you just
gotta jump off.
you throw your
Roll with
car
the
off.
punches. Roll with the punches. Take it on
But
the
no,
chin.
that would be cool. It's like the is it the George Washington Bridge in New York that has
That's
two levels?
like this, like
Yeah.
above and below. But that's a
Yeah.
bridge. Like this, like bro, fix the 40 first before you're gonna put something on top.
Yeah,
That's
agreed.
snow removal too at the. Oh, my God.
And didn't they like just fix it too?
Fix what?
The
They
40.
didn't fix anything.
No,
I'll tell you that right now. They didn't fix
Maybe-
anything.
maybe they
the West,
cleaned. Yeah, the
like,
West is nice.
Yeah,
40
West.
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 It's always
they,
been nice there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, not a lot of people are relating to
Talking about
Alright.
streets.
I mean, if you guys are having trouble with potholes in your
Yeah.
town, let us know.
I
Let us know in the
think
comments
almost
down below.
every city, I don't know, non-southern cities, because the real issue with potholes is the cold weather. The cold weather creates potholes.
Cold, warm, cold, warm.
Yeah, exactly. The changes. So I think if you live in like New York and stuff like that, you will have the same
Yeah.
issues as
I was
us,
seeing a
probably.
video on YouTube. I think it was Instagram Reels of like this trucker filming his driving in an 18-wheeler. He was, I don't know the first state. Like let's say it's Arkansas. Is Arkansas even a state?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And does Arkansas and Ohio?
Well,
connect?
Arkansas is not a state, no, but
Yeah, it
is
is,
Arkansas
of
a
course.
state?
Yes. Double check, but yes.
Okay,
Got
whatever.
our
He was
US
driving.
knowledge.
He was driving into Ohio.
Okay.
And literally, like as soon as he crosses, he's driving, and it's like bumpy, bumpy, and then he crosses the border, and it's like his GPS says "Welcome to Ohio," and it's like a smooth road.
Oh my God.
And all the comments were like, "Yeah, but now you're in Ohio."
Yeah. No, for us it's the opposite.
Yeah.
You get in, and it boom, boom, boom. So
Check if Arkansas is a state.
I am
he has a state, because that's a
asking
university.
ChatGPT.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yes, it's a state.
Okay.
Sorry for our American audience.
Oh yes, the capital, the largest city is Little Rock, but I think it's one of the like,
Little Rock.
it's one of the top.
Yes.
Ah,
Little
It's
Rock.
yes.
one of the two
How could
or
I forget?
three most poorest states in the U.S.
Missouri.
No, it's Mississippi, the poorest
Mississippi.
state. Mississippi is definitely the poorest state.
Yeah. Sorry if anyone lives there. Actually, it still has a higher GDP than. By state, it
No.
has a higher GDP than like Ontario.
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
Index,
it do-
index the U.S.
You
dollar
wanna-
to the Canadian.
You wanna? I will put my rep. We both
That's
we
crazy.
both have the slimmest reputation still left. I would be willing to put it on the line.
Mississippi has a GDP
Higher than
of-
Ontario.
of
you're saying.
I think like
With an auto
34,000
industry.
US,
With an auto industry.
and a state like Quebec, let's say, has a
Producer
GDP
T
of
has his head on his.
I want to say
Producer T, check this as we're speaking. What's the GDP per capita of Mississippi versus the GDP of per capita of Ontario?
Bro,
Get to
Ontario's
work.
I know
a
like Alberta,
industrious hub.
like our biggest GDP is which province?
It's Ontario.
Probably Ontario.
Ontario.
Yeah.
You sure it's not like
Yes,
Alberta
yeah,
per
Ontario.
capita? GDP
Well,
per capita. I'm not just talking. Okay, I should have rephrased that. GDP per capita, because gross domestic product, like that's different.
Bro, Mississippi, there's people living like under the
You
poverty
know,
line.
you know how bad the U.S. dollar is compared to the like how good it
Sure.
is relative to the Canadian
Especially
dollar.
now.
Mississippi's like I want to say
I'll just ask ChatGPT. This guy's taking way too long.
As of 2023, Ontario's GDP per capita is around 61,000.
61,000 for Ontario.
Mississippi.
Mississippi, 39 USD.
So double.
Yeah,
no 40,000 USD is
not 60,000.
39,000?
it is.
1 second. Let me ask you, Chat GPT. Mississippi GDP per capita. Okay. What's your estimations? Now, I don't know if that one was
Bro.
correct.
I don't think I care enough.
He said 39,000 US for here. Let's see, Mississippi versus Ontario.
But also, what's the population of Mississippi?
It doesn't matter. It's per capita.
Yeah, but if the population is much higher in Ontario,
Okay, let's see.
We have any
ChatGPT.
numbers here.
ChatGPT.
Are you on deep
Give me
research
something.
mode?
In 2023, Mississippi's real GDP per capita was 39,103 USD. Ontario's GDP per capita was 70,000 Canadian, 69,288. So yeah, Ontario's better.
Yeah, Ontario is
It's
better.
not a good look though.
But Ontario's our best. Ontario's our best province.
Yeah.
That's not a good look at
yeah,
all.
but with 1/10 of the
in-
size though.
Ontario would be the fifth poorest fifth poorest US state. Quebec would be
That's the point I was trying to
Holy
make.
shit.
But maybe I picked the wrong ones. But that's
Yeah, but
it's crazy, bro.
when California has the population size of all
A
of
million,
Canada.
doesn't matter.
It's
your
per capita.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, okay.
Damn,
Enough
that's
enough
bad.
yapping along here.
We debate everything on Box
Yeah,
to Box.
yeah. Honestly, we can. If you guys
Except
want
for
a
shows.
channel of anything, we could give you a channel of anything. We are just master debaters.
Yeah.
We just use the platform of football to because we
Just
have a lot
gives
of
us an
passion
excuse
for
to
it.
It's just
talk.
varying depths of misinformation. Like the further we get away from stuff we know, it's still great debates, but it's misinformation.
Like if I hadn't debated that, you would actually think Mississippi was richer than Ontario.
Yeah, because I was convinced.
Okay. So Pala, this is more of a topic that you can misinform us on. Igor Tudor first game.
3-4-2-1.
Okay.
Little Christmas tree action. Coop Miners and Yildiz in the two camp formation.
Is that supposed to be like exciting or?
No, I mean it's new. It's new, bro. Whatever you want to say, it's new. It's refreshing. The only takeaways I'd say is, listen, Tudor before coming in did say things about Vlahovic, and this is at his
Said he's better than the Aussie man.
at his Fiorentina time, bro. He said that 4 years ago. I'm saying Vlahovic at his Fiorentina days, but Vlahovic was getting in a lot more threatening positions. The problem is Vlahovic. The positions are there, but I think if Kolumwani was in those positions, he'd do a lot better job. However, Tudor does like to use physical strikers. Like Vlahovic was always receiving the ball with a guy on his back, which Kolumwani wouldn't have done well. Anyway, Vlahovic aside, Yildiz looked a lot better, almost unlocked.
He's finally playing Cam.
Yeah, but he said it himself a couple months ago. He's like, I feel more comfortable at the 10.
Yeah.
As opposed to being
You could
wide.
see it.
He was just flowing through the midfield, like very Dybala-esque. But whether that keeps up, whether that was just because we were playing a shitty team, who knows? I mean, it's one game.
You did say yesterday that if he joins Manchester United, you will be buying a Manchester United
Yes.
Yildiz kit.
Yes.
Is that a deal that you guys have?
Yeah.
I
It's
also
a
said,
one-way deal.
yeah,
One-way
it's a one-way
deal.
Off the book.
What if you guys
I offered to say, I said if
Wait, I have something for you.
I offered to say that if Yildiz joins, let's say like a Chelsea or a Arsenal, I would buy you a Yildiz Arsenal or Chelsea kit.
Okay, what if he stay? What if you buy me a Juventus Yildiz kit if he stays?
Fuck no.
But you think we're a small club and he's gonna leave this summer?
If you guys miss CL, yeah, you will be leaving this summer. So I had to break it to you.
No, I don't think
I
he
don't
would.
think so.
And then he'll win Golden Boy next year, just like
Oh,
Eno
Del Piero's his favorite player ever, bro. That's actually a celebration. Del Piero stayed when we went to Serie B. Yildiz will stay and do the same.
I mean, it was a
Brother.
World Cup.
When you go to
winner
Serie
then.
B?
No, when we don't make Champions League.
Oh, perfect.
But the other players on the team were Buffon, like world class players.
Bremer,
Coop.
Cambiaso.
Okay, yeah. Sure.
Oh, what?
Cambiaso, world class. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Standard.
Yeah. He's up there. I'm not saying he
Bro, the
leads.
bar is in fucking hell.
You're
for
such a
world
Juve
class.
Glazer's disgusting.
I'm not.
You're the biggest Juve Glazer.
Cambiaso has consistently had how many good months at Juventus?
But maybe that's
He's
a
a
Juve
good player.
problem.
He's
No,
a
it
good
was
player, but
broken-
this
it was
year
broken
he's been
by-
injured. He hasn't played a
Yeah, it
lot.
was
I don't think he's had in total 12 good months at Juventus.
12 good months.
But
Yeah.
I don't think Juve has had 12
Like,
good months of
un-
Juve.
Well, forget. Okay, but when it's a Manchester United player, when I say Luke Shaw's world class, you go, fucking
I
jump
agree
out
with
of your
you.
chair and you start fucking.
Bruno hasn't had 12 good months in a row.
What the verdak? Off the rails.
Bro, this season, don't act like he's been good the whole season.
It's you know what's funny is that yesterday we released our video and Paula, who was it at the recording? But I know you started asking people like, what do you think of where should Bruno be? And the person, they were in shock when they actually said Bruno should be around like 10,
No,
15.
Okay.
that wasn't people. We didn't ask people. We
Yeah.
asked one certain individual. And I called him, after he said that, I called him, go back to TikTok, bro. That's where his football knowledge lies.
Yeah,
So it's fair.
but
Bro,
you can't say that when we are on TikTok, bro.
yes,
We
bro.
are the TikTok ball
Yes.
knowledge.
Bro, if you're not on Instagram Reels, bro.
Instagram Reels, you got cooked too.
Tralalino, tralala. You know the,
Yeah.
the Italian
brain rot.
memes? Have you seen them?
No.
Oh, don't
Italian brain rot.
don't even go check it.
Italian brain rot.
Yeah. They
But
started importing memes from Italy.
Oh my god.
Lloyd Kelly, I watched the game. You guys were actually pretty defensively
You watched the
solid.
game. You
Yeah, I
tuned
did.
into a Juventus.
I
Juve
called him
game.
during the game, bro, because I was doing TikTok graphics.
I
And
was
this guy's
editing.
at 5 guys.
No. Okay, whoa. I went to halftime.
Whoa, I was
went to
only
halftime
watching-
to Five Guys and no free promo. We don't mention. You just say fast food. No free promo. But
You were at a fast food establishment.
I was at a fast food establishment. Very good product, by the way, at that
That's out
fast
of the
food
bag.
establishment.
Of course.
Never had it.
If Five Guys wants a sponsorship, we can definitely make something work. But the first half, I definitely tuned in, and you guys were defensively solid. It was better than Thiago Motta the last couple of weeks for sure, and I mean that's a pretty low
Yeah,
bar.
definitely the last couple of weeks, but
New
the
manager
whole
bounce.
season. Yeah, that's that too, bro. If there was problems in the locker room, no shit. The first game after the manager leaves, everyone's gonna be happy.
But I still see it as a limp towards Champions League. Like you guys are limping in now.
But
still.
at this point,
We won.
it's like
it's one game. Like we won the game.
At this point, like I think their only option is to kind of like limp and fight for that last, like for a top 4 spot, because now you have Roma that's 3 points behind. Lazio's still in the mix there too. So it's a bit of a dogfight for the last two spots
listen,
or so.
we're 3 points away from third too. So like it's from third to sixth. I'd say it's all a toss up.
But
Yeah, it is a toss-up.
okay, now let's look back at
Bologna's
like
in there too right now.
Atalanta lost.
Bologna's there.
Yeah, but Bologna's playing Napoli, Inter, and
Yeah, they have tough
Atalanta.
fixtures, I think.
so now you see optimism at the club.
No,
No?
bro, what optimism? Like let's not act like Igor Tudor was who we wanted. Like,
Okay, no, but there is like a sense of fresh air at the club now, you would say.
for the fans, the general consensus was like, oh, Thiago Motta, shit out, whatever. But like, are we really happy with this current state? No. Questions are still being asked of Giuntoli because regardless of how good he did at Napoli, like that wanes off after you start missing a couple at Juventus. Like it's a big manager jump. Plus, a lot of people are still very angry about selling like Dean Huijsen. People are very angry about like the Fagioli, Mirettis, Rovellas, like those type of players, Italian youth, whatever that we developed. So, I mean, listen, I think this was just a temporary fix, and I think this was to get players to want to stay in the summer because under Thiago Motta they would have wanted to leave because apparently they really didn't like him. So,
I find that crazy. Like Thiago Motta was actually, he lost the dressing room at one point.
yeah,
But
Like,
I feel
pretty
like
nuts
he,
to-
I feel like he may have lost it not early on, but it was almost like when he first came in. I remember when he first came in, and he was like really like dropping the hammer on like decisions being made at the club, and I remember thinking like, damn, like he just kind of got in there and he's already like ruling with an iron fist, kind of like I get you want to go in full force, but it's like I felt it was like a little too much, and I think that idea, that philosophy, near the end, like especially if you're losing games, it's very difficult to justify that
but you're allowed,
mentality
like
when
you
you're
said,
losing games.
You're allowed when you're winning.
Yes.
And at the beginning, we were winning. I think we won the first 3 games like 3-0 or something like.
Yeah, it was like
crazy.
okay,
It's-
we'll see.
So you're allowed to have that iron fist in that case where you're putting on guys like Mbangula and keeping a guy like Douglas Luiz on the bench. If you're winning, that's no problem. But as soon as you start losing,
You got to back it up.
stuff like that.
The problem was that like I like the idea of meritocracy. Like he came in with that ideology,
Yeah.
and that's why he started Mbangula, all these players that wouldn't have started. But then if someone like Kuppenheimer was playing like shit, he would have not subbed him off, and he would have kept on starting him. So he went against his own ideology, and in the end, it backfired.
It did.
But he
And-
did like using Coop Miners.
I still don't see like maybe he'll come back to his Atalanta days in a 3-back, but
People want
Makes no
goals and
sense.
assists from Coop Miners.
that's what he does.
But that's not the way that he was being used at Juventus, at all. I mean, he wasn't
At
playing.
Atalanta.
No, I'm saying at Juventus. Like at Atalanta, he was being used in a
Yeah.
place where goals and assists
But
could happen.
That goes back to Thiago Motta's mismanagement of his players then, because there was a lot of question marks with playing players out of position and whatnot. So people were saying like, okay, but you're not putting your players in the best position to succeed because you're trying to push your philosophy and your ideas, which I think there's a balance. But when you're really taking players out of their element and like you're suffering,
Injuries, bro. We had no choice. I don't think
Yeah,
we played anyone
injuries
out of
too.
position that didn't deserve to be played out of position. Like we found Weah, rejuvenation of Weah's form this season by playing him out of position. So
yeah, but then like a Coop Miners played somewhat out of position.
really only him because he made Thuram very good, a very serviceable player.
He benched Yildiz a couple of times.
He benched Thuram a couple times also.
Thuram too.
At the beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when we had so many options, but
Brown
listen,
deserved to start. He deserves the start.
but at the beginning he didn't deserve it.
yeah, but then near the end, when
Near the end, he
still
was our
wasn't
best
getting
player.
start.
Near
When
the end, he was our best player.
Exactly.
Like I was like, "Yeah, that guy's fucking special. But listen, I mean, we have the remaining. How many games are left in Serie A? Maybe like
Nine?
9.
7,
9.
8.
I think it's like something like that.
But
We
we're
got
nine
29
last week.
games. I think
We'll
we're
have a good
29.
sample size by the end of the season to see if Tudor can steady the ship. And then there's Club World Cup, which also I think you said it right before we started recording. The winner gets 125 million or something.
Yeah.
125 mil. So it's a nice chunk of change, but
Well, you can buy literally San Siro with that money. Because
I'll be hoping Inter makes it.
that's not even a wanker situation. That's a fact because the
We'll see, bro. There's
city
no-
of Milan offered you guys San Siro for 115.
And guess what?
no?
Guess what they're doing? Wanka. We'll see. It's not set in stone that we're buying San Siro.
I'm not
Maybe
saying
they're
Milan,
just telling you the
but
line,
Inter,
Yeah,
I
they're
think
just
they
selling
want.
I'm not
Milan.
saying that. I'm saying
So what are you saying?
if you got 125 mil, you could technically right now just go actually like if let's say this would be a wanker situation. Juventus win Club World Cup and then go and buy San Siro.
You gotta pay rent. Gotta pay
That would
rent.
be an
would be
all-time
Wanker,
wanker.
move.
That would be bad. That would be
And they
bad.
kick Juve and they kick Milan and Inter out. That would be good.
No,
He's
you
stuck
know
with a
what? You know what
$150
would be
million
crazy?
asset.
That's more realistic is also I think you can get that number down because that asset is worth nothing but the land, and it's gonna cost more to deconstruct, like to tear it down. So
yeah, it'd be a huge
the
investment.
biggest thing that I see actually happening, and this is a Milan thing to do, is Milan buys the stadium and Inter go build a new stadium, and Inter pay rent to Milan for like the 5 years that it takes to build Inter Stadium.
I think it'd be a
Why
joint
would
effort.
we buy the San Siro?
Because you don't have the money to build up a new stadium.
I don't think you know Inter then.
Marotta, I know Marotta.
course we have
Marotta's
money.
gonna make it happen.
We're in the same situation.
Not
Except
necessarily.
we bought our land in San Donato already.
And we bought our land in Rosano
Yeah,
as well.
exactly.
Like I don't know. How did you start a rage bait? Like I didn't even. This was an unprovoked rage bait. I didn't even say it.
This
You
guy-
don't know Inter.
This
What the fuck
guy,
you talking
this
about?
guy
No, no.
rage baited both of you and stay out the he stayed out of the
He
conversation.
gave his 2 cents. and
For
then he walked out
Juventus,
the
you
door.
want to tell them for Juventus to get to the stadium. Is there any metros? Is there any buses?
No, but
Like, how do you get to the
walk
stadium?
through the hood.
You have to walk through the hood of Torino.
You don't have to. Me and my dad were the only ones doing it.
I did it too, so there's a.
But listen, it was
conversation.
safe, bro. I got to see a different side of Torino.
San Siro was metro right there though.
San Siro very well connected.
Well connected.
You
Was a
know
bit of a
right
pain in
away
the ass
where to
get
go.
back, but I mean, well
Yeah,
connected.
well connected.
What happened to you outside the San Siro Stadium?
It wasn't outside. San Siro, we were like, guy tried to rob me.
Yeah, so
Guy tried to rob me, and that didn't
very
happen.
enjoyable match day
Yeah, very,
experience.
that's a stadium
Bro,
experience.
I
right
needed
there.
the full experience.
Yeah.
That was Inter, watching Inter dunk on Milan in the Champions League semifinal, and then right outside my hotel,
Robbed.
a guy tried to steal my bracelet. Let's just say it didn't happen. Should have seen the other guy.
And then Varva, what about your experience going to your seat at the
Bro, there's
at the Stadio Olimpico?
We all have a story.
I went to Lazio versus Juve while I was in Rome. This guy's sitting in my seat. Like, bro, I walk up to him like, this is my seat. He's like, no, I think it's up there. You should go check. Me being the idiot,
That's the classic.
actually went to go check. And I'm like, no, bro, I went back down. I'm like, no, bro, this is my seat. He's like, no, bro, it's up there, bro. Go check. It's like, and then he starts pointing. I think it's that
told you a
seat
wanker.
specifically. So I actually went to go check that seat. I'm like, no, bro. I went back. It's no, bro. This is my seat. I think he got so annoyed by me coming back and forth
You actually moved.
that he actually moved. He's
That's crazy.
like, this American.
Yeah.
I'll be at the Olimpico next week. Roma, Juventus. I'm going.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's a big game.
Live stream at the Olympics.
Live
Who
stream
says
like
no?
this.
What's that?
Are you wearing the Roma like a?
I don't think I'm bringing a Roma jersey, but maybe.
We'll see. It depends.
I'll be going for Roma. That's
it depends.
For
It
sure.
You're going
depends
for
which curva.
Roma when you guys are battling for 9th place.
We're
in
10th.
Serie
We're
A?
gonna finish 10th. I hope you like. It's something that you have to understand.
No Conference League either.
no,
Lost
better
to
like that.
Napoli too, by the way. By the way, when we
2-0.
made this itinerary, we didn't even write down that Milan lost.
2-1.
I avoided it.
Bro, 10th place lost to second.
Yeah, like
what's the difference, right?
mid-table.
Bro, you guys are mid-table in Serie A.
And I know the standards of my club right now.
He's not gonna contest it. He can't contest. It's like when we try to rage bait you in Manchester United, you say, "Yeah, but bro, we're 14th."
But
Like,
we're
you
winning
just
Europa.
accept
Oh,
it.
but we're
But we're
undefeated
winning
in
Europa.
Europe.
But you just
You're
accept
we are
it.
undefeated.
We
in
are
Europe.
undefeated in Europe, actually.
We are.
We are.
No, you're not. You lost.
You're undefeated in what? Europa League?
Yeah.
That's Europe.
Yeah.
So against what? Bodo Glimt? What games?
Who
Oh,
cares?
you can't bring that up when you got Feyenoord.
Yeah, you got kicked out by
Knocking you down.
Brother,
Feyenoord.
do you understand the standards? I'm saying we're
we
shit.
knocked out
Bro,
Real
your shit just
Sociedad.
is-
You got knocked out by Feyenoord.
That's embarrassing on your part as well.
So basically, what I'm hearing is both teams won't be.
It's
in
embarrassing
European
that we've won
competitions.
every game that we're supposed to win.
So what I'm hearing is both teams won't be in European competitions next year.
No.
Yeah,
Guys,
I'm
guys,
CL.
it's Europa League. Lazio finished top of the group.
Bro, Millie, we might actually be the only 2 teams in CL next year. This side of the
Bro, I'm confirmed.
You
in.
won't
I don't
win
know about
Europa
you, bro.
League.
You gotta win Europa
I'm
League.
confirmed in.
How you confirmed in?
Bro,
They're undefeated in Europe.
Europa League is basically wrapped up at this point. Like I said,
Clip.
Who are
bro,
you playing next?
Bro,
Clip.
Lyon lost to Strasbourg 4-2
Young
this weekend.
Fonseca ball.
They lost to Strasbourg, bro, and I'm meant to
Strasbourg
be
is
scared.
a very good team nowadays.
And they're better than
In Liga.
Manchester United?
You never know.
You never know.
André Santos would be your best midfielder.
No, he wouldn't,
Yeah, he would.
bro.
Bruno,
Converse
Andre
this,
Santos. Conversations.
Okay, for sure. I'm getting rage baited right
Worked.
now. And I know we said in the intro that Barcelona played an ineligible player. I just threw that in there just to wanker you. It is true though, and you guys
It's the
should be
stupidest
deducted
rule ever.
points. Should be deducted points. You
You're not a Madridista anymore.
And if you guys win the title, should be stripped of the title.
Bro,
Not a
your
Madridista.
Valverde
Bro.
shout. Your Valverde shout kind of people
Yeah.
are stripping your Real
26,
Madrid.
Bro, go in the Discord. We Madridistas, we're a community in there.
oh yeah.
He's trying to
we,
rage bait.
speaking French
He's
now.
rage
We.
baiting them.
Justin
Bro.
right now is like,
Bro, Justin welcomes me open arms into the Madridista community.
cap.
All the
crazy.
Madridistas in there call me. I might be the leader of the Madridistas in there.
Putting Valverde 26.
How are you rage baiting an entire Discord from
I'm
a
not.
They
podcast?
can't even answer back right
Yeah,
now.
that's
I'm
crazy.
not,
It's
bro.
crazy. They can't even speak back.
Okay, let's go into this manager bracket.
Okay, we're here, gentlemen.
Let's get
Okay,
ready.
first round. Let's make it a quick one. Pep Ange.
Pep.
I think this.
Wait,
one-
okay, no.
It's like a combined 11.
Crazy.
Pep.
I'm making a TikTok out of this. Okay, it's a 16 manager bracket. We've seeded everyone from 1 through 16, and now we have basically a round of 16, eight matches in the first round, and we were arguing off camera what to make the criteria, because I know in power rankings you guys often say in the comments you guys are all using a different basis, like whatever. So we're gonna set the record straight before we get into this. How much percent is prior achievements and accolades as a manager, and how much percent is current managerial?
It should be
success?
50-50.
You say 50-50,
I say 70-30.
Millie?
I'm okay with like a 70, 30, 60, 40 kind of split. I think current should have more weight
Yes.
right now than past because
It does.
past it doesn't really change what you're doing now.
Think
if that
about
was
it.
the case, Mourinho would still
Think
be winning
about it on a
trophies.
year-by-year basis. Let's say, if you did, let's say a manager has been managing for 10 years and
Yeah.
he's had a good season this year. This season would be worth 50%, while all the other ones would be worth 5%.
Yeah, I don't like 50-50 because then, like, literally, like Millie said, Jose Mourinho that will have 50 points of the 50 points for prior.
No, he wouldn't.
Yes, he would.
No, he wouldn't.
He would have 50-50.
Pep
won a
and Sir
treble.
Alex Ferguson
Won-
have 50 of 50. He would have like 45 or something like that. But he'd have 0 right now.
No.
Yeah, but what we're finding is the current best manager
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
saying 70-30.
Fine. It's fine.
So-
Whatever.
70% being
The
current this season.
Yeah.
This season's success as a manager, 30% being prior accolades. So this is all it's doing is if it's tied, where two managers are both very good this season, their prior success is going to push them over
Takes
the edge.
precedence, yeah.
So now, Vavra, get into the first one.
Pep versus Ange. Let's make this quick.
This is an easy one. But see, like, explain it. Like, Pep maxes out his prior
Yes.
season. So he has all 30 points of that. And this season gets some points heavily deducted.
Yes,
Still more than Ange though.
that's the thing. I think
no
Ange this
shit.
year has been.
Yeah.
It's not his fault.
Ange has
completely,
0 in
but-
both categories potentially.
Yeah,
Not
Ange's
necessarily
season
0.
has not been that good, but that's because
Not
of Spurs
0.
in general. And Pep, like, he hasn't been as good, but he's still what is he, fifth? He's still fifth, you know. Like, it's not the standards of Man City, but
Fourth.
They're fourth. They're in
fourth.
a CL spot.
Nottingham's fourth. Well, they're
No,
still in a CL
Nottingham's
spot.
third.
Nottingham's
Fifth.
third.
How shit is your league?
Yeah.
It's a farmers league nowadays.
Anyways, you guys literally had it.
Liverpool, Arsenal, Nottingham.
Okay, fifth.
Chelsea's
City.
fourth.
Yeah.
So
Man City.
Chelsea then City fifth.
Yeah. Like, it's not been a good season for Man
Chelsea's
City.
Fourth?
It's still
Chelsea's
we get 5
fourth?
CL spots, so
Stellan.
Chelsea's
Talent.
Man City's
And
still
we
in
didn't even wanna
theoretically.
put Maresca.
Maresca ball.
Crazy work.
And we were
But
thinking about not putting him on the list, and he's fourth place in your league. Wow. Pep Guardiola wins the first.
yeah,
first match.
He's our highest seeded manager
Yeah.
as well. He's in the 1 seed. Ange is in the 16th seed. So
Are we going down or here?
What's easier for people to visualize?
I say down.
Down.
Yeah. So the winner of this next matchup will be playing Pep in the round of 8.
So Conte, Xabi Alonso.
Now this is tough.
This
I was
one's
looking
pretty
at the
close.
board and I thought this was pretty close as
this
well.
one's pretty close. But
Stylistically, not that far away from each other.
I mean, if you're gonna look at the 70-30, like current, I would give it to Xabi right now.
Really?
Why?
I mean,
This season.
okay, well, this
smoke.
season, like I would also consider maybe like last season as well, kind of current. It really wasn't that far away.
Fuck,
like,
this guy
currently
found
not
a way
far
to
away.
move the bar. This guy
Not
found
really.
a way to move the
No, 'cause
bar to hate on Conte.
Yeah, that's crazy hate.
I'm not saying it's hate, bro. Conte last year, where was he?
Bro, last season
Conte
is
last year wasn't coaching.
historical shit.
Exactly, he wasn't coaching. Xabi Alonso. So really, Conte should have less historical. Then.
No.
He should have less historical. If Xabi just went undefeated.
No, he won the league every
I'm
time
not
he's
rage
coached.
baiting. I'm not rage baiting right now.
That's
Bro,
a
Xabi went
crazy.
undefeated and won the Bundesliga. He won a double.
Conte went undefeated with Juve and won the double.
10
And also
years
has
ago.
the record amount of
But
points.
who
at our club.
cares?
10 years ago.
Historical data.
Which one's more current?
But who gives a fuck? Because it's
Oh, yeah.
it's
'Cause
historical.
history's history,
But
yeah,
once again,
okay.
I'm
But
not
it's
the one
current
who
this
made.
year. Like,
Okay. There's one history that's more relevant than the other, and more relevant is a year
but this
ago.
year, wouldn't you say that Conte has overachieved with this Napoli team? You look at this Napoli team; it's not the best team in Italy, and
Conte
yet
came into Napoli and people put him as pretty much favorites for Serie A.
who did this guy?
You didn't even make them in the top 6,
Yeah,
bro.
exactly.
And really, the way they're playing right now, if Milan didn't shit the bed, they could have actually been
Milan
like
is
fourth.
10th. They're not competing with Napoli
Could
and
have been
Inter.
like fourth.
You're literally competing with Napoli for the Scudetto.
Bro, you guys are gonna give it to Conte, but I'll give my vote to Xabi right now.
But why?
Because
You're
right
fucking
now,
bullshit.
30% is historical. 30.
Yes, but fuck,
And you're gonna
fuck
give
the
Conte
30%.
10. You're gonna give Conte 10. He gets maybe half. He gets maybe 15. Because Champions League. What
This
has
is
he done?
one of City A's best ever managers, and you're giving
Champions League.
What has
But he's not in
what has
Champions
Xabi
League.
Alonso done in Champions League?
But he's a newer manager, and then in one of his first seasons as coach for Bayer Leverkusen, he goes
Europa League.
undefeated. He goes undefeated. Oh, Europa League. Europa League. Okay, then Conte, CL with every single year with Inter, CL every single year with
Okay, so-
Chelsea.
But
okay,
so,
every single year
so
with
you're
Juve.
giving Amarim, you're giving Xabi Alonso a Europa League final, but Conte makes the Europa League final, and it's
Stop using.
with Chelsea,
We're already off the
no,
rails.
no. He
With
made
Chelsea.
the Europa League final with Inter.
and we lost. We should have won that.
Xabi
game.
Alonso lost,
Okay.
and they got dominated.
And they also went undefeated in Bundesliga.
Right now,
Conte
right
went
now,
undefeated with
Xabi
Juve.
Alonso
Juve.
second in the Bundesliga out of Champions League. Napoli second
6
in
points
Serie
off
A.
And you're gonna
of
really
Bayern.
blame Xabi for
No,
getting
no,
out of Champions
So
League.
you would pick
Yes.
Xabi Alonso right now?
Bro, he lost.
You lost
Bayern.
Wirtz. You lose Wirtz to an injury.
But
they were
everything
down 3-0 at
collapses.
that point.
Everything
But
collapses.
Wirtz was there in the
Conte
first
lost
game.
Kvaratskhelia.
Oh my goodness. He's okay with that. Go get Okafor.
He is not okay
And-
with that.
okay,
Listen,
so-
I don't
and he's
expect
still
Conte.
competing.
I don't
Xabi
expect
Alonso's
Conte-
okay with that. Go get.
I don't expect Conte
Go
to
get
be at
boner
Napoli
face.
next season. Then I don't expect Conte to be at Napoli next season. If this
We'll
is
see-
if
we'll
this is
see with the
if he's not
investment.
okay with this.
That's all
Millie,
about
the
next
problem
season
with the
and
bias
this
is that these are very close. So
They're very
like,
close.
It's close, so that's the problem. Is you're making it seem like it isn't close.
70% is current. I'm
Exactly.
giving it to Xabi right
But
now.
you're using last season as current, which is not current.
And I'm also saying that Conte collapsed as per usual after January in the Serie A.
So then, if he collapsed, what the fuck does that make Xabi Alonso? Because
Bayer
he-
Leverkusen 6 points off of Bayern.
Okay.
Exactly.
What
6 points
Napoli
off-
are what? How many points off of Inter?
Napoli at one point were 5 or 6 points above. Napoli at one point were 5 or 6 points above.
Yeah,
leading Serie A.
they slipped,
Xabi Alonso
but-
was
and they
never
slipped,
But
above.
look at the team. He's overachieving.
Okay, guys, just vote Conte. Like, I don't know why you're making me yap.
I love Xabi Alonso.
Talk to me about Conte. Tell me why you think Conte should be winning
He's
this one.
3 points out of a title with fucking
Pasquale
Napoli.
Mazzocchi. Like,
Yes.
Oh my God, give me a break. One game a week, bro, please.
okay, but
One
that,
game a week.
that goes into it. Like, unfortunately, you could only judge what's in front of you.
Yeah. Not,
That's
yeah.
what it is.
I don't think it's
I
that-
can't wait to see Conte at Juve next, Milan next season because you guys are only
Okay.
going to be playing one game a
No,
week.
no, but wait.
I'll
Zlatan,
take that.
no, but Zlatan said on Twitter. Well, he didn't say on Twitter, but I saw it on Twitter. Zlatan said
See this in
This was months ago.
he's a very good manager, but unfortunately, it's not what we're looking for. So Milan not looking for a good manager? Question mark.
I mean,
Not
that's
look
not
for
how
a
it
manager
works.
that asks for way too much and then will underperform
exactly.
in Champions League.
Context. Failed
Underperformed.
rage bait.
In Champions League.
Bro, Milan are 10th. Beggars can't be choosers, bro. If
I'm
What
not
did-
talking about Milan. I'm
Okay, we're not
talking
talking about
Conte.
Milan.
Bro, it's very close. Millie just made it seem like it wasn't. Well, no, actually, Millie tried to not make it seem like. Bro, Xabi Alonso's still in Pokal. He knocked out Bayern in the round of whatever 2 rounds ago. Knocked out Bayern, then got smoked by Bayern in the Champions League, which is the only reason why we're not putting Xabi through over Conte.
Yeah.
Was the
yes.
smoking in the
Yeah.
Champions League. 6 points off. Never really competing with Company, which is a new manager in his team. So I mean, I'd say it's kind of a failure by Xabi Alonso this season.
If
Not
a
a failure. It's just
Bro, he won the league
No,
it's
last year.
regression to the mean.
He
It's a
won-
regression to the mean.
That's your opinion, bro.
So,
They
go
won
back
the
here.
league. They won the league last year, and
But before he showed up, they were nothing.
yeah.
So, like,
he's creating new standards for.
If I were to pick one of these managers next year, I think I go Xabi Alonso. But this year, I got to give it to Conte. That's
I
how I
agree.
see it.
This year, Conte has been better, in my personal opinion.
I really want to pick Xabi Alonso right now, but the Bayern one.
If it's
I'll
a-
go with Conte.
By the way, if it's a 2-2, we're gonna let producer T tie break.
Yeah, no, I like.
Tel Aviv.
I could have put Xabi Alonso there. But
I
Okay.
really don't think Conte has done anything spectacular this season, but whatever.
he hasn't.
He hasn't.
Bro,
Napoli,
you
man.
literally
You understand?
Knocked out of Coppa Italia.
Please replay the videos before the
Of what?
season started. Like,
What are-
please.
What are these videos?
The top 5 league predictions on Patreon.
Okay. And what's the
We
problem?
didn't have Napoli. I was the only one, I think, that had Napoli in the title race.
At
Well,
the
you had him
beginning of the
first.
season,
No.
Yes.
Did I have? I might have had them first. But once again, if you finish second, first, like, you competed.
What?
They're 3 points out.
we count those.
They're 3 points
you,
out.
You competed.
Bro, they were 12th last season.
Do
Do
we
we
have to fact
understand
check
that?
this?
Inter finished second. I said at least we competed.
They
I
were
would actually be
12th
ripping you
last
asshole.
season.
Yeah. I agree, bro. They're overachieving
Last
right
year
now.
was an
That's like
anomaly.
saying,
Last
okay,
year was
if
an
Milan
anomaly.
get a new manager this summer and he finishes second with them this year, you're gonna say the failure?
I am saying that Napoli, you're gonna base Napoli now off of Napoli last season finishing 10th or whatever. That was an anomaly because every year before that, the year before
You
they
can't
won
say
the
that
Scudetto,
because
the year
he
before that they
doesn't.
came
He
second or
didn't.
third.
He didn't get Kvaratskhelia. He got him for half a year, and he didn't get Osimhen. So that's not the same team. So stop saying that.
Bro, I really don't see.
Whatever.
Like, bro, Anguissa's still there, Lobotka's still there.
Oh, Anguissa.
Brought in Buongiorno,
That moved the needle for me.
Firms, you know where the predictions are?
It was one of the first ones.
McTominay. Like,
Bro, we're giving superstar status to McTominay.
Might be-
That's
I'm
literally
not.
the
I'm just saying you're thinking
No,
that
no.
the Napoli team was depleted.
Some here at the first.
Okay.
Anyway, go on. I'm gonna look for our top 5 league predictions.
Okay. 12 and 5th seed now. So Pep is gonna face Conte in the next round. 12 versus 5. Amorim versus Slot.
Slot next.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, obviously, currently, you got to go Slot. He's about to win the Premier League. He's instilled a winning mentality at Liverpool.
But-
Everybody called Liverpool off last season, including me.
Sporting is
Oh my God,
included.
the 30% you're using?
Well, no,
No,
it's included this season
this
as well.
This season. Sporting were first in
Oh,
Champions League. When
yeah,
he
you're
left.
right. Okay.
So that's including this season.
4 games in.
Uh,
Whatever.
and the team completely collapsed after he left.
Well, now they're like on a 4-game
Yes,
winning
but-
streak, but whatever. go
I
on.
think my
They're
choice would
not in
be
Champions League.
my choice will be Slot just because what they did in Champions League, they finished first, although they got knocked out by PSG. They are first in the Prem, and nobody was counting them on doing this after Klopp left.
I agree. We
so
weren't. I remember
I wasn't
vividly.
for sure.
Yeah.
I think I got them fifth in my predictions.
I had them
Liverpool.
collapsing this season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you lose your historic manager who competed with Pep. When
We
Pep-
will really see next year when Trent leaves, potentially Salah, Van Dijk, if Slot is really.
that guy.
And honestly, he could still be that guy. Even if, let's say, he gets sacked or anything, he could still be that guy because I don't even know any world manager in world football that would be able to manage a turnaround like that.
Yeah.
But it's even like factor in like Salah, like in Ballon d'Or conversations, completely discounted. Like last year, I was sure he was going to Saudi Arabia. You know,
Yeah.
like he revolutionized the team. Even someone like Szoboszlai, like whatever, he 70 million signing, but I didn't expect him to be as good as he is right now.
In
So-
CL round of 16, though, Slot got completely outclassed.
Just want to say something.
What?
Firms had Milan at the 5th spot in his repredictions.
Yeah, but that's
Of Serie A.
predictions.
Exactly.
Was that crazy?
More updated, and he still had Milan in his top 5, and he
And
didn't
Napoli
have
out.
Juventus in his top 5.
We were sixth at that point. Why is that crazy?
Bro, do you see Milan in my top 5? I had Fiorentina there before Milan.
You in the video said I would have put Milan in 4th place if it wasn't for my hate for Milan. You said something like that.
My hate was true, bro. Fiorentina.
But the original predictions are what?
Yeah.
Okay, no, we're not gonna scrolling through multiple.
I'm gonna. I don't know. This one's
Got
actually-
completely outclassed in the CL round of 16, though. Slot. Like, outclassed.
And Amorim hasn't really had the best
Amorim,
start in Manchester
unfortunately,
United. Like his
I would say
First 2
I
months.
would say right now at this point he steadied the ship. Like
Steadied.
it was shit at the start. I agree.
Yeah.
But now recently he steadied the ship.
Barbara, do you hear yourself?
Am I crazy right now
You-
for
you
saying he
are.
started off like shit, but now it's starting to actually like upturn? Am I
Bro,
crazy?
you're fucking 14th.
Okay. Forget. I'm not
the
listening
fifth.
to him. Plead the
Bro, you're
fifth. Okay.
Am I in a different world where doing like you were 12th when he joined and now you're 14th? Am I crazy for thinking that you're in the stars, you're in the moon on this one?
Well, there's other teams that play.
But are
too,
you
like-
trying to justify that Amorim should go through? Because that would be crazy. Varvar.
Because you're just
Historical data. He wins in the historical category.
No, he
for sure.
doesn't.
on a slot
Bro,
with
Arne
PSV as
Slot-
well, or
what the
Feyenoord. Sorry,
fuck
sorry.
Did he
or
do at
Feyenoord.
what the fuck did he do at Feyenoord that was so impressive?
Didn't
Sport.
they win the league?
Yeah, they won the league.
Who cares?
Okay,
Who cares?
it's historical. Like,
But it's sport. I have to torque because Amorim was top of the group in Champions League for 2 months.
Well,
Sporting won the
that's
Portuguese
not
league.
historical data. That's this season.
Okay, next, Sporting won
Two Portuguese leagues in the last
Okay.
4 years.
Brother,
lift that.
where did you have Liverpool before the season? Not first.
6, I believe.
That should tell you everything.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm voting Amorim, but you guys are treating Amorim like it's a fucking
No,
bum.
Amorim is a great coach, but obviously in the environment he's at Manchester United, he's not been able to express himself.
Give him a summer. Give him another
Give him-
full
we'll
season.
see.
I'd like to see a full season of
Bro,
Amorim.
Slot brought Feyenoord from 5th place when he joined to winning it in 2022.
Okay. Amorim
Convincingly.
brought Sporting from fucking financial ruin, like ruin.
Yeah, he did that by himself.
Okay, we're just gonna.
The thing,
It's.
Bro, they have an
we
equal
can't even
pass.
have
They have an equal
conversation.
pass,
No,
except
they don't.
one is 14th and one just won the Premier
No,
League.
they don't.
Well, I
but
mean,
it's
if the
okay.
Portuguese league and Eredivisie always end up alternating in that like 5th or 6th spot in best leagues in the world, yeah, you could kind of put it on the same level.
Ajax
much.
fell off in that time that
2020.
Ajax came back though.
yeah
this year?
now and they're winning the
Porto
league.
fell off.
Yeah.
Porto didn't fall off.
Porto fell
They were
off.
still making CLs. Like leg firms likes to hold on to. They were still making CL
they weren't.
quarterfinals. Yes, they
With
were.
Conceição,
They
yes.
almost beat.
When?
Almost
Benfica
beat
still
Arsenal.
makes CL round of
Almost beat Arsenal
16s
last
and
year.
quarterfinals. They do. Like you can't deny
Bro,
this.
the same level of league. Saying Ajax fell off, PSV got
It's
better.
not the same level of league nowadays. It's
It's
not.
your opinion.
No, it's not. It's not.
They're not even
but
close.
it's
Slot and
true.
Amorim to me are like Amorim shouldn't even be on this list. We just put him on this list
Slot's
so that somebody
unemployed
gets a
next
buy.
year, it's going to be actually very fun.
When who?
When Slot's unemployed next year, it's going to be very fun.
That's your prediction.
Oh, he's going to get sacked. If Salah, Van
that's a hot
Dijk and
take.
Trent leave, he's going to get
But
sacked.
that's a hot
so
take
fast.
because we've seen like Slot is not getting carried by Salah. He has a
He
good
is.
team,
He's getting carried by Salah.
bro.
he's
Well, that midfield
okay. I'm
is
not.
running well.
You like-
Gravenberch rejuvenation.
Everybody's performing.
Bro, if they
Bro,
pull
he's had
up
a
next
historical
year
season.
with a front three of Gakpo, Darwin Nunez, and like Harvey Elliott, you're getting
Well,
sacked.
But that's
Trust me, if
assuming
you
you're
sell-
not going to be
yeah.
doing anything in the summer.
if you
like,
sell Salah, you're obviously gonna try and replace
You're not
him.
selling
Okay,
Salah.
who are you going to replace Salah with?
Someone who's worse, but you're gonna try and replace him.
But even
you're not
who's-
gonna pull up
who's
with Diogo
even
Jota, Gakpo, and
semi-achievable that Liverpool can get.
well, bro, it's like saying
not
Manchester
up to me
United.
to say.
Bro, if you guys pull up with a Garnacho, Xerxes,
That's what
and
we have
Diallo
right now.
winger,
That's what we have fucking
next
right
season-
now.
Exactly. So that's what Liverpool are going to
And
have right
Diallo's
now.
amazing. So
And that's what you're going to have. That's what Liverpool's going to have right now. So give it a summer.
no,
See what they do.
Diallo's
Brother,
the best of all. those
Liverpool
players.
was first in our power rankings for like 6 months
Yeah.
this year.
Yes.
This
but
is the
that's
only
because
month they dropped.
have Salah, they have Van Dijk, and they have Trent.
Not
Exactly.
all three of them are leaving.
We all thought they were going to drop. Trent's leaving.
It's a very strong possibility.
But I don't. There's no scenario where all three leave.
What?
I mean, one
in your
leaves,
mind,
the other one
or
leaves.
They won't. They won't all three leave.
If two leave, I
But
think
what?
all
What?
three leave.
What do you have?
And
to
one in your
defend
mind,
this?
bro. They're all fucking Liverpool legends. Use your
Ev-
brain for a second.
Every single one
not
is
FM,
linked.
bro.
Well, Trent is
Salah will be
leaving,
going
though.
to Saudi. That's
Bro, we said that
probably
last summer. We
guaranteed.
said it last summer and it didn't happen.
he's out of contract this year. Liverpool didn't want to sell
Last summer, Liverpool would have sold him.
No,
Because
he
they would have
wouldn't
actually
have.
made money. This
No,
summer,
he-
they're letting
oh my
Salah
God,
leave for
you're-
free.
you're
After
think-
seeing
you're
this season
thinking-
now, I don't think they would have sold. He's
You're-
a Ballon d'Or level.
Okay.
No. In last summer, they didn't sell. But
Yeah.
if they would have gotten rid of him, you would have wanted to get money for him. This summer,
But
you
they
get
don't-
$0.
Trent, you're getting $0 for him this summer. That's like saying last season they should have sold him. We all knew he was going to Real Madrid.
They have
We'll
him for
see what
another year.
happens. We'll see
Bro,
what happens.
the-
Trent, I can see definitely leaving. But bro, you forget
confirmed leaving,
that
though.
these guys are winning the Premier League.
Practically confirmed, yeah.
I think I saw Fabrizio. No.
I don't know
No,
if he
it's
said
not
here we go
confirmed,
yet.
confirmed.
Well, it's
but,
not here we go, but it's confirmed.
but the only one who might actually stay in my mind is Van Dijk. But I actually think that if you're in the prime years of your career and you see Salah and Trent jump ship, you're out of there as well.
Depends what they bring
It
in.
really
a good
depends
team.
on the project coming up.
Yeah.
Liverpool's a well-run club in the end.
Yes, I agree. But
So-
who can you even bring in that matches that output?
Well, they got the
Like, let's say you
people.
bring in
shit.
Jeremy Frimpong. Like, sure, he's a decent player, but it's not Trent.
I mean,
That's who they're linked to replace him with.
I think the biggest misses here are Salah and Van Dijk. Like Trent is replaceable just because he's
Trent
a right
is not
back.
replaceable.
Just because he's a right back.
The best passer in the world, potentially at his position of all time, probably at his position.
But in a
is
team
not like
replaceable. Obviously you'll you'll digress, but
Jeremy
you could get
Frimpong,
more balance. You'll find a
not-
balance.
You'll find
Jeremy
a balance.
Frimpong is definitely not a replacement for Trent. But there
Well,
are.
Jeremy
there are-
That's who they're linked to.
Jeremy
to replace
Frimpong
him.
has like I think the second most goal contributions in the last 2
in a
3
back
years.
five.
he also plays a winger.
With fullback. Yeah. Well,
He's
the first
playing
is Grimaldo.
Back four.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're gonna put him where Trent played. Unfortunately, that's just if you're gonna find a direct replacement, that's where he's gonna go.
I don't know. It's wherever. Even if you get your top target for every single position to replace them, it's still massive downgrades.
Well, because they carry a lot of history with the club with them as well. Like the longer they stay and the way they perform, it creates a bigger and bigger hole that someone's gonna need to replace.
Of course.
That's how it always is. Like when you lose a club legend that's playing very, very well, that hole is massive. It looks massive because of the legacy that they
Klopp.
left.
the hole that Klopp left.
It really wasn't that big
Klopp,
of a hole.
Klopp, but the Klopp
Hey,
is
be
last
careful
year's.
because we have many
Yes,
TikToks
yes.
of saying that Liverpool's gonna be shit.
But now you're looking back historically, Klopp fell off at the end of his time at Liverpool. It
The
was
last
not-
year.
Last 2 years or last like.
And
a
we
bit.
claimed it was because Liverpool were shit.
Yes, But now looking back, the players are elite players. So you're
What does that
losing
tell you
3
about
of these
Slot?
elite players. No, Slot. I'm not saying once again. I'm not saying Slot's a bum. I'm saying any manager in world football that would lose all 3 in the same summer are instantly cooked.
That's every manager.
That's every yeah exactly.
Exactly. So when he gets sacked next year, I said
Okay,
he's
but
gonna
that's
get
not
sacked.
next year. It's this year.
We'll see.
Slot. I'm sorry.
We'll look
through.
back at this in a year's time
But for what reason?
Well, yeah, but we're talking about
when he
current.
gets sacked.
You're
But this
just
is
salty that
current.
Amarim got smoked in
Yeah.
this round.
Amarim's going to be employed in a year's time, and
but-
Slot will not be. So
But
we will.
right now they're both employed, and one right now.
I
is
will
winning the Premier League.
celebrate. Honestly, bottle of champagne popped on this podcast when Slot gets
Yeah.
unemployed.
We'll wait for that.
14th place.
Simeone versus Emery.
4th seed versus 13th
this-
seed.
I'm
This
sorry.
one's
This
very
one for
tough.
me is very easy.
Yeah, this is very easy.
Simeone
Yeah.
clears.
'Cause Emery, like, he has the Arsenal
Well,
stint.
how the
he has
fuck
the
are you
PSG
pulling
stint.
this gimmick now, where you literally just adjusted your seats and you said, "This is tough," and then when Firm
No,
said,
it's tough. It's tough to say Emery will lose.
No,
that's
no,
what I
that's
mean
not what
because
I heard.
he is currently a good manager right now.
I think he's quite
to say. That
No.
he's quite
Hey, you're
inconsistent.
taking it out of context of what
He's
I
quite
said.
inconsistent with Aston Villa. Like in the past, I don't even like he's won a Europa League here and there. Obviously, Simeone has
"Who's
never
in CL?"
none of Aston Villa.
Yeah, well, he took them
But-
to the Champions League, which we
Yeah, who's
count.
9th place in the Premier League?
I mean, Atletico Madrid had to
Nine.
play Real Madrid.
Atletico might be around 9th place in the Premier League.
Okay, moving on.
Bro.
Bro, Simeone, just a week before the Real Madrid Atletico matches, we were saying that Simeone is the most underrated manager of all time. We were saying all kinds of positive
Of all
shit.
time, that was Varvar. But
Yes.
I think this year he's underrated. If a couple of results, these last 5 results completely derailed the season. Before that, he was
like-
having an amazing season,
Just like Liverpool's.
just like Liverpool. So
Just like a lot of teams. Just like Chabi.
yeah,
Like, those
Fair.
that could be added to everyone.
that's fair. But I think the fact that he was in a title race at one point, the fact that he was performing very well in Champions League just to get knocked out by Real Madrid on a penalty shootout, give him his credits. Unai
Definitely
Emery
credits.
does not have that in the Prem. He did not perform well. It was very inconsistent.
Real
Sure.
Madrid didn't best Atletico, and Atletico got lucky to go to a pen. They went ban for ban, and then the penalty shootout decided it.
Yes.
So I think Simeone clearly takes it here. Unai Emery just is not able to handle the Premier League plus the Champions League this season. He just chose Champions League, and that's
It's a one-off
best
year,
of
I think, for Unai Emery, having
Yeah.
to manage both.
it's a
Champions League.
Newcastle situation.
Yes.
If you're gonna look at his track record as well with Arsenal and PSG, didn't really like there were disappointments really. So
But he always did well in Europe. Made it to Europa League final with
He's a
Arsenal.
good knockout
Did he
man.
Made no, but Villarreal won many Europa
Europa
leagues
leagues.
with Villarreal.
that's not an excuse. But I mean,
That's the 30%. This season, we can look at what we're looking at. Unai Emery, listen, he's also on a terror of form. Aston Villa are like 8 games in a row wins or something.
Yeah, now he's doing
in all
very well.
comps,
Yeah, but they
Oh,
also have played like Cardiff.
the FA Cup games,
Yeah,
the Carabao
yeah,
Cup
like-
games.
It's not massive matches, but
It's like
regardless.
Serie A
Even
level
in
teams.
Champions League, Club Rouge,
Which ones are Serie A level teams?
Cardiff.
Okay,
like Monza level, or
Like yeah, Monza.
so
Monza still
bottom
plays
feeder
in Serie A.
relegation.
So Monza still plays in Serie A. Cardiff is in the second.
Southampton plays in the Premier League.
Southampton would actually finish mid-table.
Southampton play in the Premier League.
it's a white room.
Just leave it at that.
Oh my god.
You guys see Dibbling 100 million?
Yeah. Insanity. Once and did you see Tyler Dibbling actually liked a post on Instagram of a meme saying like, how are they asking 100 million for Tyler Dibbling? He actually liked the post on Instagram
He
saying like, how
knows
the
that it's
fuck are
stupid.
Southampton?
I've been saying a lot of good things about him, but like 100 million is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I would say if you're able to get him for under
50, 60.
I would say 50.
Yeah.
60 I think honestly is pushing it, but 50
Bro, this guy's-
under
This guy's
he's
seriously
good.
talented.
He's good, but 60 mil like once again, you're falling and look, he's a bit more prem proof. He
He's
is
not no, but he hasn't played many.
yeah, but
games.
he's more. I was gonna compare him to another transfer. He's more prem proven. But like we have as a club, Manchester United. I'm speaking from me. We have to learn from our Anthony situations of just spending 80 million on wingers just because they look good.
Yeah.
Like you have to. You can't. I would rather
This is Prem tax at its highest level, bro.
what?
He's 19 years old. Acting like I thought this guy was much younger.
No,
I
but
thought he
you
was like
watch
17.
this guy and he's. You can tell he's amazing.
Yildiz is very levels clear of him, developmental wise. He's played 25 games. He's 2 goals, 0 assists. He's
Yildiz has only played how many games? 40 games.
not this season. This season they
Extra
probably played a
15
similar
games?
amount. But Yildiz is miles clear, in my opinion, of Dibbling. I thought he was 17. That was the biggest benefit I was giving to Dibbling. But 100 mil for him, that's
17, 19.
So
We like that's not a lot.
So,
out of
Elemental-wise, yes.
context, Varvar.
Bro, look back at yourself at 17 versus 19. Were you that much different?
Yes.
No, you weren't.
Bro, footballing wise,
I knew you at 17 and I knew you at 19. It was the same fucking
I
person.
hate when he does that. He asks you something and you answer him the opposite of what he wants, and he says, "No, that's not
Bro,
true."
you knew Millie at 17. You knew him at 19.
I
Was
wasn't
there
bigger,
a
I
big
wasn't
difference?
stronger.
There is a difference.
COVID.
Yes.
COVID.
Even physically, there's a difference.
Okay, physically there may be, but
That matters in football.
Yes.
But
Breaking
okay,
news.
but
You were better
listen,
at breaking
listen.
news.
Premier League is the most physical league in the
Dibbling-
world. By the way, physicality doesn't matter.
Dibbling is a what 6'1" like
He's a bag
Why are we
of,
talking about
bag
that?
of soccer balls.
because dibbling is bigger than your league, unfortunately.
Bigger than
Whole
Simeone.
podcast session. Would you ever have a whole podcast session on a Monza player? Or...
And Nico
We
Paz?
just
We could
Monza
have that.
was mentioned in the
Not a
No,
problem.
but that's a mid-table player.
Remember
Exactly.
when Pizzili got 45 minutes one time?
Yeah,
On the
he
pod?
did get airtime.
Literally
wouldn't get a
star
minute.
player for Roma.
Debatable about star player, but
Call him up to the
Paulo
Azzurri.
Dybala.
Dybala.
Hey, Varvar, fries.
Flick Maresca. Let's make this quick. 250.
No, you know what? You know what? We did Maresca dirty by putting him up against Flick. Because
That's just how the seating works.
that's how the
unfortunately.
seating worked. But Maresca should not be 15th. This guy brought Chelsea from
Yeah.
a disaster to 4th place in the Premier League. They're playing well-ish.
He's
Look
not
at
better
the
than
past
any
last games, he
manager.
hasn't been that
He's
good.
not better than any manager that was seated above him.
But I think that's
Yes, Nuno.
that's historic.
Well, we'll
facts.
talk about Nuno, but he's not better than
Way
Nuno.
better than Nuno.
Historical data 0 and
But that's what I
Nuno
mean.
literally has been
Current
shit.
day. Okay.
Questionably shit.
Okay.
At certain clubs.
One's from the Man City tree of coaching, bro.
And
So what?
Done.
That's called history, bro.
Bro, can we stop wasting time? This is Flick.
It's Flick.
It's Flick.
It's got to be Flick.
It's...
We're just trying to have conversation.
Yeah,
here,
this
you
is Flick, bro. Let's stop
Bro,
wasting.
you want to make
all
a
the-
TikTok out of this or what?
No.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
Matt-
Flick.
That's a shame.
know. Top 4 with Chelsea.
Okay, now this
Good.
is where the
Chelsea fans must hate
this is
listening
where
to
the
this
real
podcast.
rage bait comes out. Okay, this is all warm up for this round. Enrique Inzaghi.
I saw this. This was tough.
This one.
This was tough.
Listen, I'll just get ahead of it. Right now. This Enrique. Can't reach me now because I already said it.
You know that might sway the.
I'll vote for Inzaghi.
I'll go for Inzaghi.
I'll also go for Inzaghi.
No, okay, now no, because
Reverse psychology works every time, gentlemen.
he actually goes.
I know you
through.
guys too well.
This
No, but
year,
serious-
tell us about Inzaghi this year. What do you think of Inzaghi this year?
I think this season was a rough start because we started off the season like with a draw versus Genoa. Like we haven't really lost games, which has been some like
It's what you
Right.
need in Serie A.
yeah, is what you need. You can't
You
really
guys
lose
go
games.
Oh no, you lost to Leverkusen in the group.
Yeah, but Champions League we've been fantastic.
Conceded what, like 8
One
goals
goal.
and 1 goal.
in Champions League. Yeah,
Sorry.
In all of Champions League.
Yes.
yeah, to Leverkusen off of non-existent
Yeah.
corner, which is crazy. But
That's a fucking crazy stat, guy.
yeah,
One
like
goal.
defensively,
It's been
like
like that.
Inzaghi knew exactly. Like he is a tournament manager. I'll give him that. In tournaments, he always ends up doing very very well. So I think this season, like, listen, on a scale of 10, I'll probably give him like an 8. Like he's been great. I'd have to see against Bayern, but right now with the amount of games that we've had to play and there have been injuries. Çalhanoğlu's been injured. Dimarco's been injured. Thuram, Lautaro's been injured. Like
The
not all
fact
at
that
the same time.
Thuram still does not score and you guys win games.
Yeah, but Thuram honestly at the beginning of the season looked like our number 1 option, but now it's kind of balanced. And what he's done with the team so far, I got to give him his flowers. Like I thought we were going to run out of gas very soon. I was very worried for the Scudetto and Champions League, but it seems like there's a good balance.
He always
right now.
finds a solution.
He finds a solution. But you're going to look historically, like he really just has Lazio behind him. And
Coppa Italias.
he has winning trophies with Lazio is a decent achievement for
Yeah.
a manager. Like now that he's gone, like since he's left Lazio, they haven't won anything.
Yeah.
You can't really smirk at that because that's
No, when it was Unai Emery winning with Villarreal, it was.
That's true.
yeah, that's fine. But
Hypocritical.
you count that.
Okay,
but
but
he also had terrible stints at Arsenal and PSG. But anyways,
Luis Enrique on the other hand.
That's also
was-
true.
yeah.
What Millie just said.
Luis Enrique though, with his Barca days, like
A dawn.
that's like a 30.
Goat.
That's a 30 point.
Yeah.
And
That's a 30.
didn't he go to a? Oh no, I mean, yeah, he beat Italy a couple times with Spain. but
Well,
that's
Spain,
about it.
Spain too.
He kind of flopped with Spain, though, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
But they did play one of the best football in those types of in
We had them as
competitions.
favorites.
Yeah, we had them as favorites.
Actually, no, he made the
And
semifinals of the
They
Euros.
destroyed
Yeah.
Italy. Remember they destroyed
The
Italy?
Nations League.
Yeah. No, not Nations League.
Well, also Nations League.
What was it?
The Nations
Euros.
League.
2020.
but it wasn't destroy.
They destroyed us, bro. If it
We
wasn't for
got through somehow.
yeah.
I forget
It
what
wasn't
happened.
destroy.
They had,
It was
like-
they outplayed us. If you looked solely at stats and you said who deserved to win this game, you'd probably say Spain, but it wasn't destroy.
I
remember
remember
being nervous.
Yeah, I remember
remember
watching
almost
that
passing
game.
out.
They had like 75% possession. They were shooting all kinds. but
Morata couldn't score a beach ball.
I remember Dani Olmo was the man of the match, if I'm not mistaken. But
Pedri.
I always had respect for Enrique when he was manager of Spain.
yeah, great.
And then
coach.
then he got better and better even after. I remember that we lost in the Nations League final to Spain.
I don't
Got
remember that
dominated.
one.
But currently this season,
Oh, PSG.
Inzaghi and I mean you can only play the people you're in front of, and
Yes.
Inzaghi has not played versus a Liverpool, so you can't really like.
I mean,
you can't put that on the same level.
I mean, we've played in Man City. We've played in
Yeah,
Arsenal.
but not in a knockout.
Yes. but-
Knockout's a different level, and people tend to
And you
forget
got
that
dominated by Man City.
Okay.
Enrique didn't. He didn't even make it out of the. He barely made it out into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Remember the last.
I don't think it was a last day thing.
It was the last.
It was a last day thing for
It was
them?
a last day thing. Yeah.
Because they started bad.
Yeah.
I think they
started
lost.
bad.
terrible.
Didn't they,
They lost
lose against Girona?
No, they tied against Girona.
They lost to Arsenal.
They tied Girona.
They beat Girona, I think, but they lost against Arsenal. They lost
Lost
against
third.
there was another team they lost to, like a pretty big team. But yeah,
Barcelona? No.
No.
Did they
Villa?
no.
Let's get our facts.
They beat Man. Oh, this was after the form changed. They lost to Bayern.
Atletico.
Bayern.
They lost to Atletico. They tied PSV. They lost to Arsenal.
To be fair,
Terrible-
these are
terrible
big
run.
games. These are big games.
But
And they lost all the big
Yeah.
games.
but he did turn it around, undefeated in Ligue 1 too. So, I mean, yes. But
That means nothing.
Bro, he's about to
But-
clinch the trophy in March.
March.
Yeah, but undefeated means nothing. Like
zero. loss,
sure.
rather.
But you're
Like,
gonna take
two
you're gonna
top- two
take
But
draws.
points
let's say
away from
one of those draws turned into a loss, but three of those other draws turned into wins. I would find that more impressive. They only have one loss.
I agree.
But you're gonna take
I
points
I
away
don't
from
care,
him
but
for
they're
being
not
perfect.
undefeated.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Undefeated's such a bullshit thing.
And he's making like the team just works so well. I think it's one of the best teams in the world. The midfield, Vitinha is now certified like up there as world class, let's say. And there's people like Dembele who I had counted out having one of their best seasons ever. So player wise, he's completely revolutionized the team.
Barbara, how many draws do you think PSG have? About to
3.
0.
5 draws in 27 matches.
So turn one of those draws into a loss, but they have 3 more wins from those
Okay,
draws.
bro, this is ridiculous
Aren't they
numbers.
undefeated?
They're undefeated with only 5 draws, 22 wins. This is 71 points in 27 matches. This is like
And the amount of goals they
Nuts.
score.
it's ridiculous.
But I think the problem there is like the talent that PSG has is just so much better than Inter's. Not even rage rate.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. So
Yeah.
like obviously PSG looks better.
Yeah, but then PSG have a lot more talent, you say,
Yes.
but they're playing at a similar level to
Like
Inter.
Inzaghi's able to
So
elevate
then
players
how
that
is
aren't of
Inz-
that level.
So then Inzaghi's technically out managing Enrique.
I
I'd
think
say
with
he
the
is.
resources.
He is with the resources that he's been given.
There's
Okay,
a
let's all say it
conversation.
at the exact same time so we don't get
Oh,
biased.
fuck. I was gonna say I'm letting you guys do this one because
Let's all say it at the
I'm
same time.
50-50.
And if we tie, then it goes
Yeah,
to
but the issue is if it goes to producer T, he might not even have ever heard the name Luis Enrique in his life.
definitely no.
Getting rage baited.
What if we give producer T say it first?
Producer T getting rage baited.
He's voting Limone every time.
He knows. He knows.
Okay.
He's nodding his head. He knows.
3, 2, 1,
Enrique.
Enrique.
What'd you guys say?
Inzaghi.
Inzaghi.
Enrique.
Enrique.
There we go. It
Said
all flipped. It
Enrique?
flipped from last time. As I said, bro, I got ahead of the curve. I knew Enrique was going through.
Really for Inzaghi, like this year, even big games, he wasn't that good.
No, I agree because haven't beaten Milan, haven't beaten Juve,
Yeah.
drew against Napoli both times.
This is literally like they're. I'd say they're a point off. If you want to go actual points of the 30 versus the 70 and whatever, like they're a point.
If we were running away with the Scudetto, I'd say it'd be a lot
Yeah.
closer. But
But you're
we
still
like to keep it entertaining.
You're still in tre competizioni.
Tre competizione.
Good.
Playing every 72 hours.
So then we get to see Flick versus Enrique in the quarterfinals, which should be good.
Oh, taverna.
Company Arteta. This is Arteta. I can't cap.
Is it?
Give company his flowers.
No.
Bro, first season at Bayern,
We all doubted him
leading the
too.
league,
we all doubted him.
leading the league, and I think most of us had Bayer Leverkusen winning the league as well, if I'm not
This
mistaken.
No.
just proves, by the way.
The updated.
By the way, this just proves this guy literally got relegated in the Prem last year, and now he's winning the Bundesliga. So what the fuck?
It's a manager.
So what the
Yeah.
fuck does that say
Robert,
about?
you know.
So what?
you
The
know
What are your
that.
fuck
standards?
does that say about the
That's rage bait.
Bundesliga?
Gentlemen, that's a prime example of rage bait. We just let
Varvar,
that slide.
Varvar quotation. This is a true Varvar quotation. he tried to play the same ball that won him the championship in the Premier League, and that's what was his demise with Burnley.
Because he didn't have
Yes.
the level of player.
Exactly.
But then you go to Bayern. Oh my God, I actually
Sean
have the
Dyche
level of
was
player.
able to get that club mid-table.
Because Sean Dyche played terrorismo.
So he's a better manager.
Regardless,
So
company
boring football in the Premier League.
company beat Xabi Alonso over 2 legs in the Champions League comfortably. That's a positive. Lost in the DFB Pokal to Xabi. Like, oh, the problem is
Relegated last year. Relegation's a massive stain on a legacy for a manager.
Oh my God.
I don't give a fuck, bro. Why are you guys referencing the 30%? 70% is currently.
Yes, but
This
Arteta
year-
currently,
This year, company has had a positive season.
sure.
Bayern.
Yes.
Champions League, they're still in it. They're gonna face Inter. They're winning the title in Germany so far. Pokal, they're out. Seems
Mixed
quite
season.
positive.
Mixed season.
It's a mixed
Almost-
season.
It's very similar to Arsenal in the sense because they're both still in
True.
Champions League. Both having like, well, I mean, Bayern's leading the league, but
Arsenal
somewhat
second.
mixed
Bundesliga.
season.
Arsenal
Yeah.
still second.
Second,
Arsenal would
second
be
in
leading
the,
the Bundesliga.
exactly. Second in the Premier League is equal to top in the Bundesliga.
Okay.
Especially this season with Liverpool, where they're running away with the league.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So,
So very similar.
yes,
Even Arteta with Saka, I really didn't think he would be able to stay afloat. And
But Arteta with 6 years, I think, with Arsenal and company in the first season, and they're the same level.
but we don't have the.
And Bayer Leverkusen in a decline.
Bayern,
Bayern,
also-
Bayern isn't playing like
company joined the team with Harry Kane and
Yeah, also not even
Olise
rage bait,
and
but
Musiala
Bayern's
and-
team is better. You look at Kane, Olise, Musiala, that
Kimmich.
clears any Arsenal player ever.
ever.
Not ever. Ever.
That's
slipped
crazy.
it
I don't
into
have a
rage.
bias. I don't have a
That's
bias.
crazy.
I just
Bro,
speak with my heart.
Olise
Six
the,
year-
Olise,
six-year
the,
Arteta
Olise
project.
the best Arsenal player ever.
Okay, no, it's ever. I just threw it in like that.
6
But
years.
this
in
year-
the
this
Arteta
year-
project.
Bayern is a better team than Arsenal.
No, they aren't. Bro,
Oh my
on
God,
paper,
you live in delusion or
bro,
what?
you all you look at is
No,
the front
I
three,
agree
bro.
with
Like you
Paolo,
literally,
low-key.
you
What?
your mind,
It's
you live in
Kane,
bias.
Olise,
It's
Musiala
tied.
is a better
All you
front
say is
three
the
than
front
Arsenal.
Saka, Kane, around the same level, bro. Right
What
now,
the fuck did Saka do to
Bro,
you?
Kane is top 6.
Bro,
Weren't you pumping
In our
up
Ballon d'Or
Kane
voting.
every year
Kane
about
is
being the best?
insane, but Saka's insane also.
Bro, name me the fucking backline. All you guys look
what?
at is front three, bro.
The backline, okay, Upamecano as a player is not that good, but this season he's had an
Saliba
amazing
versus
season.
Upamecano is
Defense,
levels.
I'll give it to
That's
Kim,
Arsenal.
Gabriel.
versus Kim is levels.
Defense, I'll give it to Arsenal.
Okay,
Midfield.
Declan Rice, Kimmich,
Midfield,
that's tied. I would
Kimmich.
say.
Kimmich this year.
You see, you're fucking stupid.
I don't think you're in
You're
tune with
fucking
Bayern
stupid.
You're not in tune with
I
anything.
am in tune with Bayern.
me.
You're in tune with bias.
Yeah.
You're in tune.
Oh, bias. Okay.
But by the way, Kimmich has been playing right back recently. But yeah,
Yes. Well, you put him against Declan Rice.
yeah,
So what do you
you're
want?
right.
brought it
You're
up.
right. So, anyways, Declan Rice would be the best midfielder on both teams then, theoretically.
Declan Rice would have been good at Bayern, but I'm looking at Bayern's team. I'm sorry.
Bayern twerked for him, by the way.
He should have went there, to be honest.
No, he shouldn't
He
have.
should have. He would have balled out.
All you care about is that Martinelli is still playing for Arsenal. That's all. That's literally all you
and
care
you're trying
about.
to tell me Martinelli is better than one of Musiala and Olise?
Bro,
Isn't.
a mid-table
Isn't.
winger
So?
went to the Bundesliga and is now like the best.
Bro,
player in the
Olise
world.
is a 80 million player.
Like
You're
it's
rage baiting.
crazy.
I know you are.
No, he's an 100 million player.
Sure, even more.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyways, this is Arteta.
Yeah, I'm voting Arteta.
It's Arteta just because of he's second in the Prem, but not a good season for Arteta.
I'm
Still in the Champions
somewhat
League.
agree.
He's in the Champions League. we'll see.
Comfortable. Inzaghi comfortably makes it through into past the playoffs. Arteta does that too. He gets no flowers.
What do you mean?
The issue for Bayern is that it's not like a
Arsenal
dominant.
were not in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree.
The
Oh,
difference.
he gets no flowers for that, Arteta.
But I mean, Inzaghi also is
leading his league, but I would say
Wasn't
that's
Arsenal
equal.
fourth in the?
Yeah,
know what?
but my issue
Yeah, they had a
League
good Champions League campaign.
with companies that it's not a dominant domestic campaign like
They've had
Enrique.
these one-off games.
Yeah,
where
like
they've
it-
lost.
Bro,
it's
Arsenal
not
were above
Enrique.
Inter,
Yeah, that I'm not contesting that
but he gets zero flower. Inzaghi got flowers.
because
For it.
picked
Arteta
Arteta.
spends money. He buys $100 million midfielder, an $80 million striker. Inzaghi gets a free transfer striker, free transfer midfielder, and we were
What, is
one
that,
point
what
off.
does that have to do with anything? We're talking about Arteta versus
Inzaghi-
company.
I know, but you're comparing Inzaghi to Arteta, and Inzaghi gets his flowers because he's given nothing.
But if I asked you who's a better player, you would probably say Thuram is better than Havertz.
I mean,
Which should be a lie.
So who cares how much they spent?
Yeah, but that's one.
yeah, but then that's just poor scouting then, because Arsenal had every right to go after Thuram when he had a free transfer as well.
Yeah, but I'm saying the tools that anyway, this is off topic, but the tools that Inzaghi like Barbara said, you would say Thuram is better than Havertz, which means that
This season, yeah,
which means that Inzaghi has a tool that is more valuable than a Havertz, which Arteta has.
which they scouted and found. which
Okay, you're not-
Arsenal
you're-
had the
okay,
same.
move
But
on.
is
you
You're
have
not
the
able.
same
You're not
tools to
able.
get
to-
the tool.
Arteta
You're not able
sporting
to understand
director?
what I'm saying.
No, that makes
Flip
no sense.
the
You're
script.
saying what? Thuram, he goes to Inter. Inzaghi has the tool to do well.
Really, the asset that Inzaghi is managing
Yes.
is of higher footballing potential.
That's one of the
than
11
Havertz.
assets.
Yes.
No, because you would say that, like, regardless of how much.
Declan Rice or Çalhanoğlu? Fuck.
If you want to go for like future, yeah, Declan Rice.
No, right now.
Barella or Odegaard.
Barella.
There you go. So,
But you're picking the best players.
So Inzaghi,
Dumfries
exactly.
or Saka?
That's stupid. Come on.
Inzaghi has
Dumfries.
players that you think are better than Odegaard and Havertz.
No, but that's just because I'm not saying Odegaard's a bad player or a worse player. It's just a preference.
Yes, but I'm thinking tactically you have the same potential. You have more potential with these better players, like you're saying. I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying.
You're just saying that Inter have the tools, so that we shouldn't be given flowers because Inzaghi had the tools already. He had a Barella, he had a Bastoni.
No, but you're
he had a
doing this
Lautaro.
victim gimmick that it's costed free. That's
Yes.
Marotta. That's all Marotta. That's not Inzaghi. Inzaghi is given tools by Marotta, and Inzaghi is told, figure out how to win with these
And
players.
and Arteta also has the tools as well for people like your sporting director also has the same ability to go up to Thuram's camp and say, here's a contract offer because you're a free agent, come play for Arsenal. But they didn't do that because then there's a tool before the tool.
But that has nothing to do with the managerial success.
You give Inzaghi an $80 million player, I promise you he plays like an $80 million player. You give Arteta an $80 million player, there's question marks.
You give Inzaghi a $30 million.
And he plays like an $80 million
Inzaghi,
player.
He plays like
Inzaghi has
shit.
never had an $80 million player. So you
Lautaro?
can't say that.
Barella?
We didn't spend
Bastoni?
80
Bastoni's
million.
literally worth 80 million
we
right
didn't
now.
spend the 80 million on
And
those
yet,
guys.
he's elevating these players to play like an $80 million
Yes, but
player.
Eric Ten Hag
That's
at
true.
Ajax, when
Oh, boy.
he had no money,
Okay.
was spending what the
Lost the
fuck?
plot.
Alright, so-
Lost the
so
plot.
when Varvar starts speaking facts, it's
Lost the plot.
so when Eric Ten Hag at Ajax, when he bought all these players for cheap, and
But we
then
all know
turned
that
them
was a
into
good
super,
season.
when he bought Anthony for 15 million and turned him into I wouldn't say 80, but a $60 million football, $50 million footballer.
Okay.
But then when he actually got money at Manchester United and started spending, it didn't end up.
What does
being
that have
the
to do
same.
with anything?
He's saying that he automatically assumes that when Inzaghi, if he got money, would spend it correctly.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, he is assuming.
he would.
But you're assuming that. Ten Hag did the same thing. He got a bunch of cheap players, turned them into amazing players. But when the big boys showed up, he wasn't able to control them.
Well, the day that Inter's able to spend money, bro, I'll be happy. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
right now we're at the same level
what
as
did
the
we
elite
say?
teams.
So Arteta goes through.
So Arteta,
Yeah.
Arteta.
Yeah.
Arteta, whatever.
Arteta.
Doesn't really matter.
Ancelotti against Nuno Espirito Santo. Honestly, if we're doing this season, where you guys chose the distribution, bro. Might have to say Nuno.
That's a little bit crazy to say.
It's not that crazy to say. But this
Third?
guy has Nottingham Forest third, FA Cup semi-final.
Yeah,
like-
I'm gonna give flowers to that.
Ancelotti's low-key been disappointing this season with this Real Madrid team.
He has, but he's still in a title race.
In the
he's still
Discord, in the
Champions League.
Discord, a lot of people this weekend, I was in the Discord while they were watching the Real Madrid game. Well, we were
Well,
watching.
the Leganes
Yeah,
game.
and they were
yeah,
very
and they were
upset.
saying sack Ancelotti.
Bro, you know what, Varvar? For once, I think you're onto something.
Bro, it's actually not
Bro,
that crazy.
Convincingly lost at El Clásicos. They haven't
Yes,
won in
dominated
El Clásico.
in El Clásico.
got
yeah.
destroyed.
Kind of like Simeone's Atletico, which should not
a
be on the
conversation.
same level, kind of went head to head, band for band. With
Yes.
fucking Giovanni Simeone instead of Bellingham, Mbappe,
Yeah.
and Vinny. What can you say positively about Ancelotti's season at
That they're
Real
just,
Madrid?
bro, if they're one CL loss away from a complete and utter failure of a season for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
They are. So,
But they're also Real Madrid.
but Nuno Espirito Santo with a team that we had in relegation.
Bro, how many
by the
seasons,
way.
how many Ancelotti seasons with Real Madrid could you have said that like that the Champions League changed completely the script of the season? Like it always ends up being like that, where it changes. Like Ancelotti's Champions League win saves the season for Real Madrid. So I can see this being
one's
very, very stupid if we vote out Ancelotti. I can see this being very stupid. But
I'm going Nuno. Because, bro,
thinking
Ancelotti
about
this
it. I am
season
thinking
has
about it.
mismanaged the team, in my personal
He has,
opinion.
and he has a very good team.
And he was one Julian Alvarez double kick away from.
And it's really an eye opener when Flick goes into Barcelona and has them playing so well in such a short time period that Ancelotti he has the tools at his disposal. I don't understand why.
With the addition of someone like Mbappe.
Yeah, I don't understand
Who's
why
playing good,
Real
though.
Madrid are not playing as good as, let's say, Barcelona right now.
Well, it's tough. Like
They're
they're
only 3 points off of the title.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you look at it playstyle wise and trend wise, Barcelona
Barcelona's
are
way
trending in a
better.
good direction. Real Madrid are kind of stagnating.
But are we being overly
No.
critical of Real
Real
Madrid?
Madrid are kind
They're
of
not
stagnating
stagnating
right now.
And what?
I'm
in
not
what
saying they're
time?
going downhill. I'm saying they're
Like
just stagnating.
overall.
Bro,
or
right now, Barcelona are hitting their peak as they go into the crucial rounds of CL.
Yes, but I would argue Real Madrid also in the later rounds always comes up. Like always.
Well, I'm not saying it's the history of Real Madrid. Once again, it would not surprise me if Ancelotti went and won CL. It would not surprise
Crazy.
me at all. And I want that to happen because we Madridistas, we want that to happen. But
By the way.
we,
But like at this point in time, it's not been convincing.
yes,
Which I
up
agree.
till now. So the 70%, I would actually give to Nuno. The other 30, though, you have to give to Ancelotti. So it's kind of, you have to play a balance.
So
here.
how does that work now?
Yeah. This might be a tiebreaker situation.
Tell you decide.
But Toe doesn't know where Nuno Espirito Santo even manages. So this might be an issue.
He smirked.
We asked him before. He said Wolves.
Oh shit.
He's a little
3,
behind.
4 years ago.
A little behind. Are we counting his Wolf stint in his past?
Bro,
I don't know, I feel like
this
for-
is the
He did
hardest.
good with Wolves, though. Can't cap. Had them mid-table. As soon as he left, they turned into relegation fodder almost.
Guys, we can play it safe. We can just go Ancelotti and then knock him out next one.
But I can't even imagine our Discord's reaction if we vote Nuno Espirito
It
Santo.
gotta be
right now.
Ancelotti.
That's crazy.
Ancelotti.
Like it's just the fact that
You got me though, honestly, low
Third
key. Like
with
I'm really
Nottingham
considering it.
Forest.
Like currently,
I know it's convincing.
It's cool, bro.
I think I'm
Oh,
biased
but when
now.
Thiago Motta did it, it was, we have the next fucking Allegri coming to manage
I
Juventus.
didn't realize Bologna was in relegation. We predicted to be in relegation zone. last
Even
year.
better, he's third, not fourth, by the way, which Thiago Motta finished for Bologna, and they were supposed to be
Yeah.
relegated before.
But that's what
the
I'm
season.
saying. Nuno is right now is a bigger surprise.
They will not. Nottingham Forest will not finish third or fourth by the end of the season.
They will finish third. Look how many points they have difference right now.
God, would be mid-table in Serie A.
Nottingham Forest also beat Liverpool. That's
They're in
a
a
big.
they're in a FA Cup semis, which is massive for a club like. It's their first FA Cup semis in 50 years or 40 years.
2 Champions Leagues, by the way.
Yes.
Keep that in mind. Respect.
I'm still going Ancelotti.
Oh, this is a tiebreaker, isn't it?
I like the Nuno shot. It's different.
It's different, huh?
It's different.
If we're putting
on your hater
70% for this
Bro,
season,
forget
Nuno
Arsenal.
might have all 70 right now for this season.
No.
70%. Bro,
You can only play what's in front of you. So
he has fucking Nottingham Forest in third
But
place.
wouldn't you
Ancelotti
argue?
choke 5-2 in a
Wouldn't you argue even
Supercopa?
though Real Madrid was playing bad in some games, they're still second in La Liga?
Sure. But if you do the
3 points off
70-30,
Barca.
if you do the 70-30 split like we agreed before, Nuno has all 70 points for this
But your
season.
league doesn't have a Barca.
There's 70 points for this season so far. You can't even use the
Damn.
FA Cup
Okay.
against him because he's in
Damn.
the
Listen,
FA Cup semis.
This
Yeah,
is
but
what
Ancelotti is like a 30 historically. If we're gonna
No,
compare,
because
And Nuno's
Pep
a
is
Champions
30
League winners.
historically.
So in
Pep and
29.
Sir Alex Ferguson are 30. He's
Nuno's
a
a
27 and a half.
Still pretty high.
Nuno's like a
that
7.
Nuno's is like maybe a 5.
I think
30.
I think how I'm seeing it right now is that Ancelotti is underperforming considering our expectations of Real Madrid, given like they just got Mbappe, they got so many additions. Well, Mbappe is the only addition. And then Nuno Espirito is overachieving. So I think I'm gonna go with Nuno, but I'm not confident in it. Like it's very 50.
guys. The way I actually just saw the
This might
vision.
be a podcast intro next year.
Yes, because like, bro,
Context.
what happens
Out
if
of
Real
context,
Madrid
Box
go out
to
and just fucking smoke Arsenal, and we're gonna look like absolute fools? Well, so
Actually,
I
yeah.
said Ancelotti.
I
It's
did
a
say-
win-win for me situation.
But this is current as of recording right
Yes.
now. Like
But I did say Real Madrid would beat Arsenal, so I gotta go Ancelotti now. Gotta stick to my
what the fuck
agendas.
does that have to do with today? A prediction?
Factor in.
No.
That's how you work with power rankings, no?
Well, because if you use the VAR logic, you said that Ancelotti would beat Arteta, and Arteta is above Nuno in the standings of the Premier League.
Right.
Therefore, Ancelotti is above Nuno by
By default.
default.
TUFF.
that'd be really crazy. That'd be really really crazy. I guess Nuno is going through.
Why?
Is he? No.
I give Ancelotti now.
No shit.
I said Ancelotti. Not falling into the
Just
boomer.
rip off the
trap.
band-aid, bro. You've been edging us for the
Okay,
last
I'll
10
go
minutes.
go Ancelotti, whatever. So I really like that Nuno shout though.
I do too.
I really like it.
But I don't like him as a coach. Ancelotti better.
Us,
Head saying-
Madridistas know we need
Head
to
saying
sack
Nuno,
Ancelotti.
heart saying Ancelotti.
Okay, well, okay. Ancelotti does go through and he's gonna be playing Arteta in the next round. But what would you have given on the 70 for Nuno, not Varmer,
On the what?
on the 70 portion?
Like
this
a 60,
season-
like a 60,
Yeah, up there.
65.
Why? You're
Definitely.
saying
What more could he do? Win the
Yeah.
Prem? Like he needs to have a
legit.
Claudio Ranieri season to win?
To get 70 is crazy.
Ranieri
Yeah,
did it.
but the thing is I
So
think
68
bro,
you
it's
get.
the same like credit score, bro. You cannot achieve the highest level of credit score unless you have big loans. So unless you're in the Champions League or Europa League, you cannot get to this high credit
Yes,
score.
you can.
You can't because you're just like
So-
Conte.
so-
you're
so
just focusing on
Theoretically, Ranieri couldn't have gotten 70 out of 70 that season.
but he won the Premier League. He didn't get
But
third,
he wasn't in Champions League.
but he won the Premier League.
But he didn't have any big loans.
He won the Premier League.
He didn't have any big loans, bro. He wasn't in Champions League.
He won the Premier League.
He didn't win the FA Cup.
Won the Premier League. I don't know if I
Bigger,
have to say it in
Premier League's bigger
say it
than
in
any other
French.
trophy in the world.
Il a
according to you,
gagné
bro.
la Coupe du Angleterre.
Yeah, your logic doesn't make sense.
Bro,
though,
he
son.
won the fucking league compared to third place.
But
bro.
he wasn't playing in
It's not
Champions
apples-
League
it's
like you
apples and
literally
pears,
just
bro.
said.
Yeah, but Nottingham Forest is playing Champions League.
Next year they will be.
Leicester played in the next year as well.
Yeah.
So the round of 16 is done. We are now in the quarterfinals. Vavra, which one are we starting with?
Pep Conte. I can't cap.
Historically,
Conte.
Low key.
Conte, Pep.
Bro, no. Look, listen.
if you're gonna
Listen.
current,
Because if it's so much distributed current, Manchester City out in the playoffs.
Real Madrid.
Napoli
Okay.
weren't
Oh,
in the-
so now it's Real Madrid. Okay, that's what I'll keep that in mind.
Conte wasn't in the Champions League.
Sure.
Real Madrid
But-
Champions League is a different breed, but whatever.
This year, are we going with the big loans? Ranieri's not a 70 out of 70? Or are we doing? What are we doing
Bro,
with
why
the
you
big
bring-
loans?
But why do you bring up the third? Why do you bring up the like a third? Always a
Because you
third?
brought up Conte not in Champions League. So are we
Conte
bringing up
isn't
the
in
you
Champions-
can't get a perfect score?
Conte is second place in the league. He's not first, bro. Like, I sometimes I think I'm speaking Chinese to you.
But
Like,
bro,
truly.
if
Bro,
you
do you understand that winning the league is not second place? It's not third place. Bro, Arteta's been criticized his whole career for being second. We don't get flowers to second. First
just did.
place. Ranieri is first place. Was first place in the Premier League with a team that wasn't supposed to be even in the top 10. I know it's hard for your brain to process the information.
I think it's tough also because these managers that only play one competition get taxed. Because obviously, if they do good in that one competition, they're good.
But then I expect the exact same heat for when they're losing
Yeah,
those games once a week,
but
and you
but
had all week to
Conte-
prepare.
Conte is second,
look,
First.
Pep
first actually. Sorry.
Pep is 30 out of 30 historically. Of
course.
Yeah.
But Conte's like a 25 out of 30. Like a 27 out of 30.
No,
25.
Bro, he's
20.
No, bro, you
20 out of 30
What?
max.
He won the Prem. He won Serie A's like every year he's been in Serie A. Practically, he's won Serie A.
Are you putting it-
almost every?
Put him against Pep now.
Okay, but that's why he's a 25. He's not Pep. We all agree.
So
he's
you're
not
telling me one
No Champions League.
like no Champions League and he's still like almost there.
5 points is
Yes.
Champions League. 5 points is a
Bro,
treble.
Treble won a Pep won a treble.
Pep. Simeone doesn't have historical then, if he didn't win a Champions League.
Won a La Liga in the prime of Real Madrid and Barcelona.
So what?
Made
Conte
a CL
has, like,
final,
Conte-
lost in a penalty shootout to Real Madrid.
By the way, Conte, because Conte built the Juventus that you think of today.
But to be honest,
Juventus was not at that level before he showed up.
Simeone and Conte are very comparable, very similar.
Yeah.
In
and
terms
what would you
of
give
his-
historical for Simeone? It's
I
not,
would give it
it's
the
not
same
Pep.
as Conte.
It's not Pep.
No, definitely
It's
not.
25.
20.
It's not 25, bro.
Bro, then who? Okay, so Pep, let's just say Pep, Sir Alex Ferguson, Ancelotti are
I
the
think
best
25
historical
would be
managers.
Ancelotti
What
historically.
managers are right below? What are 25?
Ancelotti, who has won leagues, has won
You
Champions
literally
League.
just said when we said Ancelotti that he was a 30.
I did? No, I
Yes.
didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
I said historical. You said
said he was a
Ancelotti's a
29.
30.
I said
I
it.
don't remember answering.
I probably said it.
But Ancelotti is a tier below Pep historically. Although his achievements are insane.
Yes.
But Pep is he's the best ever. Anyways, who are we doing right now?
Flick,
Pep
Flick,
Conte.
Flick's in that
Conte,
second tier.
Pep.
Flick could low-key be there, yeah.
So the 27.
25.
Like I see Conte's in the 20 to 25 range, like right now.
But he wins on current against Pep. In my
That's
personal
why,
opinion.
because then over, it depends how much points you want to dock for Pep for this season. Like if it's like a 0 out of 70,
No.
it's not.
I would say it's like, a
25,
40 out of 70.
a 40 out of
Whereas
70.
Conte's
But Conte's like a 55, I would
yeah.
say. So then you technically have to give it to Conte.
Why? Off of 5 points, and then it's just like use
Yes.
your brain, and then you're gonna say.
Yeah, but the
okay,
problem with Pep is that the 30 skill doesn't work for Pep. Like, Pep, like
30 is worth a lot more.
the
Like his
greatest
30 is
manager of
worth
all
more than a
time.
lot of other 30s.
But this season, would you say Pep has had a successful season?
no, of course not.
So
and also, why is Conte get to 25 of 30?
Because
Juve
even
legend,
if you
but-
put it 20 and we agreed to 55 versus 40, he still wins.
I think the gap should not be like 10.
Bro, Conte has won the league title almost every year he's been
Bro,
manager.
he's only won 4 Scudetto.
Oh.
4 Scudetti.
And how many years has he coached in Serie A? Think about that.
At least
Multiple.
7.
So half of the years he's in the league, he wins.
Those teams are very.
forget
good,
this
though.
distribution. I think
None of those teams won before he showed up, by the way. So yeah, those teams are very good because of him.
Okay.
Was Bari in Serie A in 2007?
I think there was City B. It's possible. I don't know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bro, no, he's not. He hasn't won it in half. He hasn't, and he never.
He won all his years at Juve. He won
2 years at Juve.
so whatever he won every
He
year.
managed
at Juve, it doesn't
Atalanta
matter.
2009 to 2010.
It wasn't in Serie A.
I would have to check.
Serie B.
20. He did 2011 2014 Juve won 3 times.
Whatever it is, he won every year. So
He won
whatever
3
that is,
times.
he won every year.
For Italy had a shit team but didn't do well either.
Didn't do well. Made the
Did good.
quarterfinals. Lost to Germany, by the way, in pens. Again with Giaccherini up top and
I watched.
the
I watched.
worst Italian team of all time. But yeah, sure, maybe
That was not
we
the
don't
worst
even
Italian team.
qualify for World Cups now with a better team. But yeah, he shot the bed. Can I keep going?
Didn't say shut the bed. Inter 2019 2021.
He won how
One.
many Serie A's?
One.
Okay, one in 2 years.
And then Napoli now was not going to win.
Well, that's not for sure. So
But we're not going to count it.
yeah, but you're also not going to count this season as 0 for 1.
We just don't count it.
Yeah,
So
you
got-
just don't count it. So he's won. He's won the league title in what
forget
4 of his 5
historically.
years in Serie A.
forget historically. Currently, Pep has not had a good season. Conte has had an exceptional
Conte's
season.
historically still an amazing manager.
Exceptional.
Who?
Can you
Conte's
show
a-
me?
But
amazing
forget
manager.
historically. The best manager this season between Pep and Conte,
Has been Conte.
unfortunately, I think so.
Because Pep has had such an abysmal season
Yes.
that you really can't justify saying Pep goes
Yes.
through based on current. You can only justify saying it goes through on legacy, but that legacy is worth so little
We
that the
agreed to a
current.
distribution.
Like obviously everybody
Conte-
here is picking Pep as their manager
Yeah,
instead
so
of Conte.
Conte goes through.
But Conte better season, I would say.
Crazy. But Inzaghi out in the round of 16, no problem.
Also
played
went against,
Enrique.
Enrique.
Slot Simeone. Now Atleti's on their way to going trophyless this season.
I know. These last 5 games completely derailed the season, as I said.
But now Slot's only
A
gonna
lot changed for
well,
them.
he's gonna
Slot's
have a Premier League.
historical's like 10 out of 30.
Hmm?
Slot's historical's like 10 out of 30.
The historical, bro. I don't give
no,
a
but
shit.
you have to because
But
they're
that's
very
at the end.
close.
No,
to
but
Yeah,
the
that's at the
season.
end. You're not
That's
even
when
talking
it's a
about
tie.
currently.
Okay, so
currently,
then
Liverpool's
Slot's
first. They're gonna win the Prem.
So Slot's going through.
In my eyes, I would say Slot has had a better season.
Yeah.
I mean, the La Liga is still pretty close.
I did not have a Conte Slot semifinal written down on my bingo card in 2025.
But currently, obviously, we're not looking at the best manager
people
ever.
People aren't gonna like this, but I mean, if you're doing current, you gotta stick to the ranking.
Slot this season, well ranking, we give out a 70. 55 again.
A lot drop. Like, bro, these last fucking
The CL,
getting knocked out of the cup and
Like
the
a
CL.
45 or 50. I'd say 50.
No, bro.
45 and he's winning the Prem.
50.
Get the fuck out of here.
Klopp's
Get the
air.
fuck out of here, bro.
50, 50.
Bro, 55
50.
because you
Really?
you got
He
knocked
crashed
out
out
of
of Champions League. Crashed out.
Well, what did he do in
Sure.
FA Cup?
winning the
crashed out
Prem.
of FA Cup.
Winning the Prem.
Bro, not crashed out. He played Nottingham Forest. No, who did they play?
Brother,
Was it
they
Newcastle?
lost to.
Doesn't
didn't they lose to
matter. They lost.
Portsmouth?
If you lose in the FA Cup, you lost in
Oh,
the FA Cup.
Didn't they lose to Portsmouth?
Yeah, some.
They
man.
Plymouth Argyle.
Plymouth Argyle.
Yeah.
So what?
Millie.
But Juve lose to Empoli, so what?
They're not winning the fucking league.
Bro, the
It
air.
doesn't matter. Liverpool was seen as the best team in the world for 6 months. You lose to Portsmouth and you lose to PSG in 1 week.
Millie,
But then
where did we have Liverpool before the
Portsmouth.
season started? Probably like 4th, maybe.
I think I had them in the top 4.
Bro, Klopp's air, and you come in and you convincingly fucking clear the
It's not
Premier
even
League.
close.
Like,
Okay,
that's,
but you-
that's not a 50 on 70.
Yeah, but we predicted that there was going to be a heavy drop off of Salah, Van Dijk, the whole team.
And,
the whole team.
And they hit
Slots,
peaks.
Yeah, Slot said, no, fuck that peak.
Yeah, but that's because the ability was there. Slot just unlocked it. Yeah, brother, do not tell me
I
Salah
think
was
this
a
guy
B-rated.
picks and chooses which managers to actually like really.
No, but do
dislike.
not tell me Salah was a B-rated winger before Slot came in, and then say, "Oh
I know,
my
but
God, he just came out of
You think
nowhere." No,
Jurgen-
he was
you-
elite.
You think Jurgen Klopp was in the top 3 of our generation? Yes. Most
If I told
likely.
you before this season that
Debatable.
Salah had the chance to, Salah had the chance to break a Prem goal record and assist record in the same season, you would have called me crazy.
Yes.
Okay, so
I'd
we
that's a
agree
hot
on
take.
that?
I'd say that's a hot take.
No, you'd say that's fucking insane.
I would say that's a hot take.
You would say maybe one of them, not both.
Sure.
Okay, so then
That's
second,
not a crazy take.
second, if I said Liverpool would be up by 16 points halfway through the season, a bit more than halfway through the season.
Yes, but
you
that
would say that's insane.
again, we all thought Man City would lead the Champions League, be first, and we all said I don't see them losing a
Bro, they
single game
lost
in the
one
Champions
game,
League.
Liverpool.
never
in
mind.
the Prem.
We all had Liverpool number 1.
In what?
That's in the reprediction.
The
Yeah,
reprediction.
reprediction.
If you go in, that's on YouTube, the actual prediction.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you go into, if I told you that they would be winning, you would call me like, bro. It's 55 out of 70. They're gonna win the Prem convincingly. They have one loss, and we're 28 games in, or
Like,
29 games in.
The way I'm seeing it is
Against Southampton, they lost.
the way I'm
two.
seeing it is that Slot this season has had a successful season.
Yes.
Although there has been setbacks in the Champions League and the FA Cup,
There's still question marks.
There's still question marks. We'll see next year, even like we said, with Salah leaving, potentially Trent leaving. We'll see next year. But this year, I think the fact that they won the Prem,
Yeah, well,
And we-
Convincingly, not just
convincingly-
straight.
yes, I agree.
yeah,
I
they
agree.
have one loss in the Prem.
One.
still, against Nottingham.
I agree. Like it's
Was it-
very impressive.
Against
Oh, yeah, it
Nottingham
was
Forest.
Nottingham, yeah.
Against Nuno
Sorry.
Espirito Santo.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. I'm
Lest we
And,
forget.
and
debating
then Simeone on the other side, he was competing for La Liga. He was competing for Champions League.
But now he's not competing
He's
for La
not.
Liga, I'd argue. I'd
nine-
argue it's
is he
done
9
already.
points
No,
off?
they're
9 points off.
6
Or
points,
6
maybe?
points off.
Yeah, but the issue is that it's not 6 points to one team, so he would need both teams to kind of
Yes,
fall
I
off.
fall
agree.
off. So yeah, the last 5 games completely destroyed Simeone's season.
Fuck, our predictions were shit.
Oh shit.
Yes, they were
So
bad.
bad.
Welcome to Box.
This might need a reacting.
Mhm.
These are fucking bad, bro. You had Liverpool 6th.
Fourth,
I had them
fifth.
I had them 4th. You had them 4th. He had
I
them
had them
5th.
fifth. Like we.
You had United 3rd.
Oh my God.
God damn.
Okay, whatever, it's fine. Flick versus Luis Enrique.
This is a very
You
elite
hinted
matchup.
you hinted that there was a conversation. I just don't see it, bro. Flick has not missed a fucking beat, bro. He's won every El Clasico. He's dominated in the
Champions
Champions League.
Sure, but he's not convincingly winning his league title right now.
He's winning.
I would-
Enrique, it's
They're
already done.
undefeated this
Enrique's the league's already done.
I mean, this
so,
year.
bro,
Yeah.
don't start
and
trying
they
to pick
beat and they
choose.
beat Liverpool.
Don't pick and choose when you want to say that League One is shit and then La Liga.
Historically,
whatever.
I'd say they have the same grade historically.
Bro, what's the closest? Okay,
Similar.
What's the closest?
I'd
team?
say it's the
Who's
exact
second,
same.
Who's second in Liga in your opinion, power wise?
Marseille.
Okay.
It's,
Now,
bro, we are not
Real
even in
Madrid.
April yet, and the league's done. I don't think
Okay,
you
yeah,
realize
I
how
agree.
dominant
where would
that is.
Marseille finish in okay?
La Liga?
We'll use a
Prem?
12. Okay, Prem 12. Okay, where would Real Madrid finish?
In the Prem?
Yeah.
I mean, definitely top 3.
So like, bro, the
Probably second.
Barcelona's competing versus Real Madrid to win to run away with the title. PSG's versus 12th place Marseille in Prem.
Luis Enrique joined this year.
Yeah.
No,
Last
no,
year.
last year.
Last
He
year,
coached Mbappe.
where was PSG before last year? Finishing
First.
first. Where was
But
Barcelona
not
last year?
not done in April.
I understand, but they still won the league.
Bro, look
Barcelona
at
last
how
year
many
were-
wins out of the 20 whatever games they played.
To me, what Hansi Flick has done for Barcelona is revolutionary. He completely changed the way they play. It's not what we envisioned for a Barcelona team. He's excelling with players that are at the peak right now. I think
If they get
it's
deducted
Flick.
those points for Inigo Martinez, bro, they're not. They're actually tied for the title.
Listen, I think this is a very, very close comp.
close.
It's a comp, actually. I find it's a very, very close comparable. You have both teams that kind of somewhat stuttered, but then PSG goes absolutely berserk for the rest of the season. Barcelona goes undefeated all of 2025, haven't lost a game. Both teams have star wingers that are Ballon d'Or caliber, young players that are emerging as world class. Like they line up very, very well. But I think if they were to go up against each other, like I would see, bro.
But it doesn't matter which team's won; it's which team's
Yeah.
better managed.
get
Bro,
it. Like,
Enrique before
clear.
this year they lost Mbappe, and if I told you that PSG would be even better, closer to winning CL after losing Mbappe, you would call me crazy.
If you told me that Flick would jump into Barcelona and
Win every El Clasico.
win every El Clasico convincingly and just
The
be
El
a power,
Clasico.
compete for Champions League.
the El
'cause,
Clásicos.
I mean, he's there.
and be like first on our power rankings in certain months, bro, I'd call you crazy.
I'm going Enrique.
I'm going Flick.
Flick.
I'll go Flick as well. I like the Enrique shot though. I really like
Great
Enrique.
manager.
I really think Enrique is at the level where he can make at least a semifinal here or a final.
These are the two best teams in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Arteta against Ancelotti, and whoever wins this goes against Flick.
This is tough.
It's not. It's
This
really
is
not because you
Ancelotti.
guys were. No, because you literally were shitting on Ancelotti.
Yeah.
And I would have voted and asked Millie.
You voted Nuno,
I was telling him I would vote Nuno over Arteta as well.
He did say it.
I told him.
Bro, you were shitting on Ancelotti. Don't.
I was pointing
he
to
was
him
like,
like,
"This is gonna be scary."
Nuno to the semifinals is crazy.
No, I saw it in the corner.
Yeah.
That's why I made sure Ancelotti went through.
Okay, and
But that's Nuno.
Ancelotti definitely deserves to be over Arteta. Neither of them are winning the league title. Or Ancelotti has a way better chance of winning the league title than Arteta.
Regardless,
they
they're
face
both
each
second.
other in the Champions League.
They're both second.
Okay, sure.
Arteta has had a way better Champions League campaign thus far.
Thus far, they're at the same point. So who
Way
cares how
more
they got
stable.
here?
Okay, context. You understand
So
context.
so you're
finished
telling me
second.
you think that there's an actual better chance Arsenal go through than Real Madrid?
Bro, I'm not. This is currently the season pass. Don't start bringing up what happens next week.
Yeah,
because
I just said Barca
because
versus
what
PSG.
happened-
You said it's not about that. It's about how they're managed. So it's about how each manager is managing their team. I think Ancelotti's been a lot of up and down. Arteta's I have a sense of a little bit of stagnation. I haven't seen the team elevate to that level of an elite
Saka
level.
It's
Their
actually
injuries.
there was that one year where Arsenal hype like reached an all-time high. It was their first good year under Arteta, and actually I see the team getting worse year by year since then.
I wouldn't say worse and worse.
Oh, it
It
would
was
have been
just
much
be
better
like
if Saka was.
Bro, you guys were winning the title for most of the year that year. And last year you guys were first for a lot of the year. This year you haven't even come close to being first.
Bro, if Saka was
There's-
healthy,
there's
this would
actually
have been the
getting
best year.
worse.
This would have been Arteta's best year if Saka was healthy.
You guys won all the games when Saka was injured. It's not because of Saka's injury.
But when Saka was healthy, the team looked like its best.
Sure, and you were still 15 points behind Liverpool. So it doesn't make a
Bro,
difference.
Saka got injured a long time ago.
Yeah, and you guys won all the games. You guys were actually better without Saka.
Bro,
Results-wise.
we still don't have Saka, and we're second place.
Yes, but you guys were winning without Saka, and you were winning with Saka.
basically
You're
Saka isn't
still
important.
15 points behind with Saka.
False.
Okay,
We
sure,
weren't
it's
15
false.
points behind.
You
How did Arteta do in FA Cup? I don't
out
remember.
against Manchester
Newcastle.
United.
Oh, Newcastle.
Oh no,
Yeah,
that's, no, that's
that's
Carabao.
Carabao. Manchester
Getting
United,
so
I
confused.
believe they lost to Arsenal.
Was that the live stream?
Yeah, we scored. We won on pens. No, it wasn't a live stream.
No?
Manchester United, I believe, beat Arsenal on pens in the FA Cup. Yeah,
Manchester United?
Manchester United, 14th place. Manchester United, by the way.
But I'm hearing Amorim versus Arteta.
And
And-
Real Madrid
and-
are about to make the
Copa del Rey final.
Copa del Rey
Or,
final.
Copa
Yeah,
del
because
Rey,
they're
is it?
about to beat Real Sociedad.
So I think
Conversaciones.
Real Madrid, although they've had a down year, they're competing on all fronts still.
Yeah.
You got Ancelotti.
Yeah, Ancelotti.
And now Mbappe's starting to get into his
Crazy how
like
you guys just
actual
Form.
Probably switched up.
No, you
not
guys were
switched up.
fucking shitting
It's
on
comparing the difference between
Well, Nuno
Arteta and
overperformed.
Nuno, which results wise is very comparable. Let's say like they're actually very close in the table. Is that Nuno's doing it with a team that's super dog shit? Well, not dog shit. We know they're good players now, but was predicted to be 17th
I know, but I'm
versus
not talking about
Arteta, a
Nuno.
team that was predicted to be in a title race the whole year.
But I'm
And
not
they're
talking
not.
about Nuno. Ancelotti lost
Yes.
lost every
But-
important match.
Sure, Arteta has not been fucking amazing in important matches.
Versus who?
But we were saying before, we criticized Ancelotti because he was coming up against a Nuno who is overachieved on every single
Yeah, but
front.
I'm talking about just pure Ancelotti alone. Forget Nuno. Comparatively, you guys weren't talking about that. You guys were shitting on Ancelotti, and now you're
Yeah.
praising him for the exact things you were shitting on him on before.
No, I
Because he has to be
no, I'm
critical.
not.
Of course you are.
What
You
did I say that's so hypocritical?
You shat on Ancelotti on every front.
I didn't shit on him.
It was critical.
I just said Nuno's doing a very amazing job with Nottingham Forest. Ancelotti's just doing an all right job
Bro,
with
listen
Real
to it back. You
Madrid.
guys were shitting on Ancelotti. But
Both,
regardless,
both of these guys are just doing all right jobs right now. It's just which Ancelotti has an extra trophy that he's all extra fighting for right now, and they're both playing each other, so we
one
can't
plays in
even
the
say
Premier
that.
League and one plays in the Liga.
So what? The one in the Premier League, 16 points behind or whatever the fuck behind Liverpool,
They're both second place.
but they're one's actually competing for that league title. The other one's not.
Go, bro. Put him in the next
This
round.
one's Ancelotti, which you said is competing with the best team in the world, the best manager ever. Flick. So
Okay, put him through, but Flick, they're both losing to Flick.
we'll see.
What do you mean we'll see?
There's no we'll see.
Conte against Slot. Did not have this down.
So stupid.
Very difficult.
So egregious.
This is
Why? Why is it egregious?
Look, the issue is we have to give ratings here because Conte destroyed Slot historically. So we actually need to give ratings on their current season. I believe we said
I really
Slot
don't need to.
55.
Slot.
I'm leaning towards Slot.
Yes. 'cause
But what
one has
rating
kind
are
of
you giving Conte?
Whatever makes a Slot win.
40, 45?
Bro,
Out of 70? You haven't clinched. You're not 16 points up in the Serie
sure,
A.
45, but we agree Conte's a 25 out of 30 for historical.
Oh my god, but that, bro, like honestly, the emphasis on it is crazy. Like
I know.
I'm sorry, Conte doesn't come into
You
a
want
match.
to pick and choose because you dislike Conte, you
I
want him to
don't
lose.
bro. It's not that. It's just you could watch. You watch with your two eyes, and you're telling me Conte has done a better job for Napoli than Slot has done for Liverpool.
This guy
That's
speaks as
false.
if he had Napoli like a fucking super megalodon
false.
organization before the beginning of the
On this
season.
list,
False.
which manager has had the best on 70 current this season? I mean, Flick?
Slot.
No.
Flick?
Flick.
Slot. Oh wait, on this
Flick.
list.
Yeah,
sorry,
Flick.
I thought you just meant in this. Yeah, Flick. Sorry.
Slot!
I thought you meant Slot versus Conte. It's
Flick.
obviously Slot
So
versus
if
Conte.
Flick
I'm
has
not
the
debating that.
Yes.
If Flick has the number one at what? On 65?
Yes.
Okay, so then Slot is number 2. Let's put him at.
55, I said.
So let's drop him 10 fucking points.
I literally said that. You had no issue when I've been saying slot 55 for the last
Okay, no problem.
an hour,
No
but
problem,
now
bro.
you have an issue.
No problem. 55. Conte 40 then.
No,
Yes,
no.
because we dropped 50. We
He's
dropped
second
50
in his
points.
league with Napoli,
Exactly.
who was predicted. We gave Nuno around the 50.
One
or a
was playing
60.
PSG midweek, and Conte was twiddling his thumbs midweek.
Oh my god, man.
So what?
Let's go.
So what? Okay, so I'm dropping him by 15 points. In
We
the,
predicted
in the 70.
Napoli to be
What?
like you didn't even have them in your top 6.
After
What
We
did you
predicted them to
updated
be. I don't.
rankings.
I think in my beginning of the season, I definitely didn't have them first because we all had Inter. I remember that specifically. We all
Yes,
had
so
Inter
So you
first.
had them second then.
So they're living up to my expectations.
And that warrants.
That's a very good season.
That warrants Conte to go through.
But I think I put Napoli second just to rage bait Milan and Juve fans. But I'll stick to
No,
that.
it's not rage bait with Conte.
But
He's a good
you say
manager.
that now. The beginning of the season,
had him-
when I said Napoli second, I believe I was
I wish we
called
could
crazy.
see these. I wish we could see.
I'll find it.
Losing to Lazio in the Coppa
I think
Italia.
you can run every number you want. Slot is going through versus.
No, I disagree. I would vote Conte.
I think
Bro,
the
it's
margins
Slot.
the margins are so small that like you got to even factor in the performances that these teams had. And I
But
think
now,
Liverpool,
but now Slot, when he
But can I
lost to
finish?
Plymouth Argyle, it's not.
But
Let's not mention it.
Liverpool has played very well this season. Napoli, there's been moments where they were not that good,
Terrible.
but they got the result. So you got to give
You're telling
Conte
me
the credit.
Liverpool didn't just go through a moment where they played like shit?
What, the past like 3 games?
And
there?
they won.
Yes.
And they were winning games.
And they're out of every competition now except for the Prem.
And Conte had 2 competitions to worry about this season, and the second one he decided to shit the bed against Lazio.
I'm sticking to Slot.
It's Slot. It's not even a debate, Slot.
Yeah, not even a
because the amount of weight you put on the Premier League in any other debate and argument that we have is that Premier League is on the same level as the fucking Champions League, okay? So now when Slot is up by 16 points in the Premier League and you're saying, oh, well, Conte's still in a title race with Napoli, he should go through, you just completely trash your whole argument that the Premier League is tough to win, is tough to do this, tough to do that. Bro, he's up by 16 points. That is better than anything Conte has done this season. I do not
agree.
care if the Napoli were 10th place last season. They were first the season before that. They had the bones. I don't care about Osimhen. I don't care about Cavada. Conte was able to take a squad that already had value on it and make it compete.
Okay.
Slot, after we destroyed them at the beginning of the season, saying that they were going to be complete garbage, ends up winning the league by 16 points.
Yeah.
You
Ends
know
up winning the
what?
league.
This doesn't happen very much on this channel.
What?
I'll admit I'm wrong.
Perfect. Thank you.
Why? What ended up happening?
No.
Where'd you put him?
Can we see the
Predictions, I have second. Pala had 4th for Napoli.
I had
Ferns
third.
had 3rd. And Millie had 5th.
Oh, so they were in my top 5. Thought I had them completely out.
It's a reprediction.
It's the reprediction.
Yeah, the reprediction. I thought I had them out of my top
We don't have any
6.
original predictions.
These are the original predictions.
No.
So I had them 5th. Basically, you're shit.
Milan all were 3rd or 2nd.
that was the expectations.
That was the expectation.
I put Milan 3rd.
You put Milan 3rd, yeah.
Bro, I was
Milan
off the
second.
I was off the drink that day.
The one day Pala is an unbiased.
Well, I was wrong. I would have been wrong.
Okay, so Slot is into the final against the winner of Flick Ancelotti. I think we can all agree. I'm not even
Flick.
going to defend this.
I don't know, rage bait here.
Like, I can't even
even
rage
rage
bait this. Like, this is Flick.
Hanse.
We've spoken at length about both of these managers. We don't need to annoy you.
Honestly, I'm quite happy for that final. Flick, Slot.
Yep.
I think that's
I don't
the
think
perfect
Slot.
depiction.
Honestly, for me, looking purely at this list,
It's
my
Flick-
final would have been Flick
and
Enrique.
Luis Enrique, yes.
Yeah.
But Luis Enrique was on the side
I
of
like
Flick, so he got
Low
screwed over.
key, this quadrant,
They're the
other
best
than
ones.
Maresca, like in Enrique, Inzaghi, Flick, and I would argue, I didn't make it through, but my votes, purely my votes, Nuno would have been my top 4 for this season.
This season.
So it all comes down to this season, who has been the best manager in the world? Is it Hansi Flick or Arne Slot? Boys, what do we think?
I think considering the amount of goals that Flick is scoring with Barcelona, it's got to be Flick. They're competing on every front still. Slot got knocked out of Champions League.
Damn, just like that.
That's what
So
it
we're
is.
basing it completely off one result?
I think one result in the grand scheme of things changes the season that Slot has had.
Flick has not missed a beat, brother. He's won every El Clasico. He's in every competition, I want to say. And in Champions League, errorless.
Flick has transformed Barcelona into the best team in the world.
I said this. Luis Enrique is the best manager in the world right now. I said it. And I think what he's doing with PSG should outweigh whatever these two guys are here, what Palace said for. So, look, I know it was the final, but I think Luis Enrique definitely should have
But
been
there's no option C. It's A or B, Flick or Arne Slot. Arne Slot, you can give him his flowers for the Premier League. But in the last few weeks, everything has crumbled. The Newcastle loss in the Carabao final, the loss versus PSG. I don't know. I think Slot has just really lost it in this last couple of weeks. Flick is the clear winner here.
I'd have to give my vote here to Hansi Flick. The way that Barcelona have come from literally nothing to now having 2 Ballon d'Or level players on their wings and having Pedri in the middle as well, Ballon d'Or shout there as well. Flick has elevated this squad higher than pretty much every other squad in the world. I think he definitely deserves to be the best manager.
That's honestly a very good point, Millie. I didn't even think about that. Like, we knew the quality was there with Salah. It's not like he turned Salah into something, into a Ballon d'Or player. Flick turned Rafinha into a good player, into a Ballon d'Or nominee, like
Exactly.
number 1 on our list, I think. So that's also a good point, and he's showing Yamal's progress as well. So I mean,
That whole team
and
is just
making
running.
Lewandowski serviceable, very serviceable.
First player in top 5 leagues to get 40 goals
Yep.
this
Oh, yeah.
season. Yeah.
Yahoo!
I mean, for a 36-year-old, yeah, it's pretty impressive. I'm not going to
I
lie.
think he's older than that, no?
None of our strikers are scoring 40 goals this season right now. So
Vlahovic is, I think he's close.
Look, if I had to pick between Flick and Slot, I'll give it to Flick. But Luis Enrique, once again, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
let that.
So Flick is our manager of the year thus far.
Deserved.
definitely deserved, I find. This
How the
was-
tables have
Sad day at
turned.
Varvar FC.
How
Winner
the
wa-
tables have turned.
winner was going to definitely be on that right side.
Dortmund, can you do something for me?
No, they
please?
can't do anything.
Can you do something for me?
Our Bayern friend said that,
Dortmund's like, watch out, they could do something.
and then everyone else said, "Bro, shut up."
Both gone down.
But no, that was
That was love of the game right there.
that was love for the game.
But yeah,
Yeah.
this bracket's filled
That was
out.
fun.
I think this is a fair bracket.
Yeah.
But Conte went a little too far in my opinion. That's a Coppa Italia run in my books.
And the Ancelotti Arteta, bro. We'll see next week.
The Ancelotti stuff, yeah.
We'll see next
Playing
week, bro.
Pep is a Coppa Italia run?
Either this is gonna age like absolutely fine wine, or this is gonna age like
Bro.
regular temperature milk.
Conte went up against Pep and won. How does that make you feel?
That's because Pep was shit, not because Conte was good. Context.
Conte's whole career, honestly, has been
Conte.
everyone else has been shit, and Conte was just not shit.
It was just there at the right time,
Yeah.
right place, right time, bro.
Interesting.
C'est la vie, though.
So PSG beating Liverpool was just because Liverpool was shit. That
C'est la
wasn't
vie.
because PSG was good.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro. This is where we end the
Yeah.
podcast
Yeah.
usually.
Anyway, guys, if you're still watching, thank you for getting to this point. And we're going to be doing the extended podcast. So
Yes.
we're going to record the extra portion and post that on Patreon. So if you're not on that, check it out. Link is in the description. And aside from that, that's been episode 51.
Successful.
Boys, send them off.
Peace out.
Ciao, everyone.